Welcome to Rob and Tony's Cinematic Adventure. I'm Rob Wilson.
And I am Tony the Quano.
So, Tony, let's talk about a movie that we have mentioned several times on the podcast.
We have. Not as much as maybe, say, Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, not as many as like Pulp Fiction.
For a few weeks.
Or, other movies like that we have done after mentioning them several times. But we have mentioned this one a few times.
We have, and it's definitely a favorite of mine.
Mine too.
And I would also say, along with Pulp Fiction, it's also a very influential movie.
Yes, it is.
And I think it's fitting for this time of year as well.
I do too.
Even though the movie itself doesn't tell you exactly when it takes place.
No.
I think it's fitting for this season.
Yes. Because, it is kind of creepy.
Yes.
just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Just a little bit. It's a rather disturbing movie,
yes,
to be honest.
It really is. It really is. But it's disturbing in a way that it doesn't leave you
traumatized
at the end of it.
But it was, a lot of its development was kind of rocky because it's a studio movie, a big studio movie that has a lot of very disturbing images in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but that movie, of course, is the David Fincher classic, Se7en.
Se7en. Now, do you spell it like 7, or do you want to stylize it with 7?
You got to have the 7 in there.
Because the poster actually just writes 7, but you have to have the 7 in there.
It's got to be Se7en. You got to have the 7 in there as a V.
Yeah, I agree. It just adds to the overall kind of character and just mood of the movie.
Yeah. And also just the importance of the number 7 in this movie.
Yes, the importance of it. Yeah, it's very important.
Because, it deals with a serial killer killing people based off the 7 deadly sins. And the whole movie takes place over the course of 7 days.
Yes, I like that. It's last week, right? We had 3 Days of the Condor, which took place over 3 days, and now we have a movie that takes place over 7 days.
So what are we going to do next? One Fine Day?
One Fine Day. Yeah.
We get a little George Clooney, Michelle Pfeiffer movie going on. That takes place over the course of 1 day.
Right? Or if we could expand it, go back to the 6 Days of the Condor, right? We can do 6 days and 7 nights.
Oh, there you go.
We do some Harrison Ford and Hish.
Yes, there's that one. That was definitely.
And then we can do One Fine Day, or we do 6 days and 7 nights after that.
Yeah, we could. Or how about we go Sandra Bullock and do 28 days?
Ooh, 28 days. Yes. I like that when she plays a recovering addict.
Yes. And then the zombies come. Oh, wait, that's 20.
The zombies have to come next.
That's 28 days later.
I think people kind of forgot about how those movies were concurrent, and it's, I guess, kind of one of those forgotten Sandra Bullock movies. The ones you kind of remember from that time is like Miss Congeniality. Right?
Yeah.
And if we really want to get bold, we could, actually do 500 Days of Summer.
We could.
Just spend 500 days with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel.
We did mention it a couple episodes ago. We could do 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Exactly. Yes.
Or 30 Days of Night.
Or 30 Days of Night.
And are we just going to sit here and name every movie that has a certain number of days?
I don't know. I don't know about that, but I kind of want to go ahead and play Bare Naked Ladies 1 week.
It's funny. Since you mentioned Bare Naked Ladies, every time I hear The Old Apartment, I always think of the 303.
I can't. Yeah. Yep. That song predates us being in that apartment.
Yes, it does.
Whenever I hear it, I have to think about that apartment.
Yep.
Even though we never punched a hole in anything in that apartment.
We did not.
We did not get our security deposit back, though. which I'm still kind of angry about. I
Yeah.
still don't know what we did.
Yeah, I don't either. We left that place like spotless.
Yes. Anyhow.
Huh.
So, but yes, back to this David Fincher serial killer movie, Seven, with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt.
Yes.
What a nice little like duo, right?
Yeah. I mean, those are two that you wouldn't necessarily think, would be the leading pair of a movie.
Right. I like, you kind of have the classic, okay, veteran cop, youngish cop that's kind of coming in to replace him. It's kind of quite, the start of the premise.
Not quite a rookie, but,
still
a more recent detective.
Recent detective, right? But, I get enough experience that he's the one that's being hired to replace this veteran, right?
Yeah.
But, at this point, Morgan Freeman's a veteran enough actor. Brad Pitt's been on the scene for a few years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, like, looking at it, it's like you could tell. I think my understanding is one of the reasons he wanted to take it was, he'd kind of been kind of typecast for a few years as kind of that new, like, kind of Hollywood, like, hunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
The ladies liked him because he was handsome and all that and young. And and they use that image within this movie, but they kind of twisted a bit too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a perfect combo. And what's interesting is that some of the studio, and when they're talking about different people to cast for the Morgan Freeman character, one of the things they were concerned about was having African American actor with a white actor, right? And they thought, oh, that might make people think too much of Lethal Weapon.
This is a very different movie than Lethal Weapon.
A very different movie, and they have a very different dynamic than those two also.
Yes, they do.
Now, granted, in the original Lethal Weapon movie, like, they're kind of a new partnership.
Yes.
Right? But by the time Seven came out, they had three of them. And right?
Yeah, this definitely is not
this
a buddy
characters
cop movie.
had become by that time Murtaugh and Riggs had been very well established being like best friends.
Yes The Lethal Weapon movies definitely quickly became buddy cop movies. This is not a buddy cop movie.
I could see if this was released in 1988, a year after the first Lethal Weapon movie, right? But yeah, they definitely established the buddy cop aspect by number 2.
Yeah.
And this is what Lethal Weapon 3 was 1992, so this is 3 years after that.
Yep.
So,
it's still before 4 though. Lethal Weapon 4 wasn't until 98.
That was later. We still, they had to wait for Chris Rock to become popular enough for that one.
Mm-hmm.
And Jet Li.
Yes.
There's so many like interesting things about the production of this movie because, I don't know if I want to stick with the casting or we'll stick with, like, I guess the Morgan Freeman character since we already kind of talked about him. One of the, let's see here. Yeah, the writer, so Andrew Kevin Walker, we'll get to him in a minute. But he envisioned, when he was writing it, after he wrote it, I guess, William Hurt.
I could see that.
Which I could see that,
I could see that.
But yeah. But then someone else suggested to Fincher to do Freeman. And that's when the studio got a bit reluctant. Oh, one of the producers was thinking, how about we do, Freeman. Some of the other studio execs were like, I don't know about that, right?
I mean,
and then
here's the thing: if they had gone with William Hurt, then would they have kept the whole knife throwing part in there? Because that kind of just fit Morgan Freeman.
It does, and maybe they fit that in there for him. I don't know.
I mean, was that a Morgan Freeman thing, or
but,
was that just a character thing from the beginning?
Yeah, that's a good question. But both of them are like serious actors, but they're kind of subtle about how they do things. That like I could see her going in there. Some of these other ones, like Gene Hackman and Al Pacino, I think they would have been too larger than life for this role.
Yeah, no.
So
it needs somebody like William Hurt. He's well known enough, but not so like in the zeitgeist that he would have fit well.
Yes, exactly. Especially Morgan Freeman at this time in the mid-90s. I think he's become more iconic over the last, well, really after Shawshank, to be honest. After Shawshank kind of took off.
Yeah.
Because, I guess this actually came out after Shawshank, but only by a few months.
You mean he didn't take off after Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
No.
Oh, come on.
Kind of the icon that's Morgan Freeman's really developed more, really the last 25 years. So at the time, he fits perfectly for it.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, anyway, so back to the writer. So Andrew Kevin Walker, he kind of developed this as he was writing at, not writing, he was working at Tower Records. So that doesn't take you back. But yeah, it was just kind of based off his experiences living in New York City in the 1980s. But yeah, it's funny how like it finally came around and got picked up by New Line Cinema, which I just think is great because it's my original two movies I would think about with New Line Cinema would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Seven.
Yep.
And then finally it was Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, it kind of had, kind of went through a little bit waves, the script, and finally landed with David Fincher. And he was looking for something because of Alien 3. And he was very dissatisfied with how that ended up because he felt like, we've talked about on some different episodes how the studio basically screwed over his vision for that movie. And he's more or less disowned it, not quite to the point where it's Alan Smithy's name's on it, right? Mm-hmm. But he doesn't really acknowledge it.
Yep.
So this is almost kind of like his debut film in a way. And at least it's the one that puts him on the map.
Yep.
As I'm trying to think, did I watch this first or did I watch Fight Club first? I would have watched them around the same time.
Yeah, me too.
Because I would have watched this around the same time I first watched Pulp Fiction.
I think I saw part of this before Fight Club, but I saw all of Fight Club before I saw all of this, I think.
Okay. And what's interesting is like I don't like necessarily recall this being at the theaters or seeing like the TV spots for it. I probably did. But it was the seventh highest grossing movie in 1995.
The seventh highest grossing movie is Seven, huh?
Yes. But it was it was a sleeper hit. I don't think anyone expected it to take off as it did, and it really kind of helped kind of set the tone for, granted, you had Silence of the Lambs earlier in the decade, which is a different type of serial killer movie. I mean, they're both disturbing.
They're both disturbing. They're both thrillers. They're both serial killer thrillers. But they're different kinds of serial killers.
And this influenced movies in a very different way than Silence of the Lambs did. I mean, they're both graphic. Mm-hmm. In very different ways also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So he while working as a sales assistant for Tower Records in 1991, Walker began writing a spec script called Seven, which is set in an unnamed, bleak, gloomy city that was inspired by his depressing time in New York.
Yeah, that's what I like that about this movie, because you can't really. Yeah, sure. There's parts of it that look like New York, but there's also parts of it look like L.A.
Right.
You know,
And it's funny. It was filmed in
really nail
California, but like
down
they do a
what
good
city
job
they're
of
in.
hiding it, and they just call it the city. They don't give it a name in the movie.
Yeah.
They just say, "Oh yeah, have you lived here long? Oh yeah, this city." They say, "Oh, this city."
Mm-hmm.
Blah 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 blah. Right? You know, they don't have. There's a newscast, but they don't make it seem like they don't give you enough things to kind of identify it with any particular city,
Mm-hmm.
or a newspaper that says Los Angeles Times or New
Yeah.
York Post or whatever. But yes, I like that. It's just an anonymous large city. And it just feels bleak. And what's interesting is, I guess, a lot of the days where they were shooting was just rainy, and then they decided just to run with it because they thought it would help with that mood of being, again, dreary, but also making the city seem anonymous.
Yeah.
And it works.
It really does.
They do everything street level, so they're not showing kind of iconic landmarks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And granted, Los Angeles as a skyline is less identifiable as, say, New York or Chicago or San Francisco, right?
Especially pre 9/11 New York.
Yeah. It's got big, big buildings, but it doesn't have any of the iconic skyscrapers that some other cities might have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just they keep it street level. And and then a lot of it's just inside just these dark rooms.
Yeah.
Right?
And I love how every apartment they go into, like even Mill's apartment, is sort of run down and grimy.
Yes,
and
it is.
I mean, his is nicer than the others that they go into, but it's still lived in. It's still like it's a lived in place. It's he's not paying several $100s at this point. Like, this is the 90s, so like he's not paying over $1,000 rent for that apartment, which nowadays he would be with that apartment. But
but it's not like sometimes when you see TV shows and movies and they're in these apartments in cities and you're thinking like, could they really afford that apartment?
Yeah.
Right. No, it feels appropriate. And I guess the only thing that might scream of kind of like California in a way might be at the climax once they get out of the city. But even at that, it could still feel like anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And but I just think that just the set design, the color tone, the music, it just all just creates that perfect mood.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing glamorous about it.
Yeah.
And Howard Shore did the music, not Nine Inch Nails. Sorry, but even though Nine Inch Nails does feature in this movie, we'll get to that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Fincher later pairs with Trent Ross for his movies, but not yet. Yeah. Howard Shore, who we've discussed multiple times, with different movies, Silence of the Lambs.
Yep. Yeah, I guess Howard Shore did do Silence of the Lambs, didn't he? So he did both of these.
Yes,
movies.
He did. Mm-hmm. That's right, he did. He did a lot of the early movies for David Fincher because he did The Game also. Look at that, he did Big.
Oh.
He did a lot of David Cronenberg work also, which seems
appropriate. Yeah.
The Cell, that seems like another appropriate movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've forgotten he did a bunch of Scorsese stuff in the 2000s, like The Departed and Hugo and The Aviator. Anyway, but this, again, I just the cast just rounds us out so well. I forgot Richard Roundtree was in this movie.
I did too. I forgot Shaft was here. And I forgot Arlie Ermey was in it too.
I think he originally he originally auditioned for the role of the serial killer in this movie.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Hmm.
But
I think he's better as the captain.
yes. I don't think, you know, like he wasn't subtle enough to be the serial killer character, John Doe.
Yep.
We can call him John Doe. But yeah, like I just wonder, like, okay, was this movie again? Like they weren't expecting this to be a big budget movie. I mean, it's a studio production. It's not an independent movie, but they thought, okay, well, let's just get Richard Roundtree to do this. Let's get Shaft.
Yeah.
Because like his role is actually pretty small in this movie. He has like two scenes.
He's got a few. He's got maybe three.
Maybe three. Early Ermey has, you know, he's a little bit larger of a role because he's the captain, right?
Yeah.
Obviously we have Gwyneth Paltrow, kind of one of her very early roles. Which apparently Robin Wright was one of the was considered for that role.
Really? I could see that.
I could see that. Yes. Christina Applegate, who rejected the role actually.
Okay.
And I don't think Christina Applegate would have been quite as right. I think the thing is like her character is probably the most positive person in this movie.
Yes.
And so I think that
absolutely.
Christina Applegate to me I will always just associate her with Married with Children. And so if I would see her in this, I was just like, oh yeah, she's just yeah. I wouldn't be able to buy it.
Especially since that was like right around the time of Married with Children.
Yes. And you know, we won't go into many spoilers, but Ned Beatty was also was the original choice for John Doe.
Okay.
And they thought he was the sketch from the Zodiac serial killer. They thought he resembled him a lot, and that's why they wanted him. And I could actually see Ned Beatty in this role.
Beatty in this role also. I really could.
They thought about Michael Stipe. Because I kind of wish it would have gone with Michael Stipe, not to spoil who it is, because we've had so many musicians in this series.
Yes. They could have gone with Flea.
They could have
gone with Flea.
Apparently Val Kilmer declined the role. So apparently they've never gotten into it, but Gary Oldman turned down an unspecified role in this movie. And then you have apparently also like David Fincher's former costume designer declined to work on it. Because she's, I guess, thought it was evil and misogynistic.
Was it because of the leather piece that comes in later?
Probably. Well, can't wait till we get to that. And then, like, you have all the Se7en victims, and there's a whole crew of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, right? I'll get to a few. We'll get to a few of them later.
And you know who else is in this movie?
We get there.
That we just recently talked about. Hawthorne James is in this movie.
Yes, he is in this movie.
The bus driver from Speed.
The bus driver from Speed. There's a few other characters too that play small roles in this, which we'll get to, that have been in multiple movies that we've done.
Yes.
We'll get there though. And then the other guy kind of gets the actual credited name, just by himself, not just kind of with others, is John C. McGinley.
Yes. I was going to mention him.
Even though his role is pretty small, he got two scenes basically. One's larger than the other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he plays the SWAT leader.
Yeah. And he plays California.
Yep. Which this would have been after Point Break, because he was in that.
Would have been after Point Break, and it's before The Rock.
Before The Rock, which was 96, yes.
Yeah.
So this is what, our third movie with him? I don't think he's done anything else that he's done.
Yeah,
he hasn't done a movie in a while. He's continued to do some TV work, but even TV work he hasn't really done much lately. So the last movie he was in was called Benched.
Huh. He's coming back for the Scrubs reboot.
That's not surprising.
Or revival.
But revival.
It's not exactly a reboot.
Richard Schiff's in this movie. Reg E. Cathy. But we'll get to some of these other go eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we'll save John Doe for later.
Yep.
Even though it's probably no, but you know what? I think we should keep it until it happens,
because they don't know who it is until it happens.
They don't know. So I think it's appropriate, even though it's not the most not the most under wraps spoiler anymore.
And one more person real quick that I'll mention, that he's a good character actor that never really plays a main role a whole lot. Like, very few times does he actually play like a main role, and even then it's usually as a villain. But we have Michael Massey.
Yes, he's in this.
He's got one scene, and he's just one of those people that you see him, you may not know his name, but you recognize him.
Yes.
And he's actually the guy. He's actually the guy that accidentally killed Brandon Lee.
That is correct.
He was the one firing the gun with the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes, he was in this. As man in booth at massage parlor.
Uh-huh. Yes, massage parlor.
Yes. I'll tell you. So, like, when I don't realize they ever credit it that way, and I thought massage parlor. Like, why hide the name of it?
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious, and it's an R-rated movie.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there's some massaging going on there.
The other name I'll bring up is Mark Boone Jr.
Yes, that's another one I was
in here too. He's got two small scenes.
Yeah.
Right. He's looks a lot different than he does in this than he does in Nolan's universe.
I mean, he doesn't have a beard in this.
He does look greasy, though.
He does. He does look very greasy.
So, but yeah, we'll get off to the other ones, but I'm glad we're doing this.
So am I. I've been wanting to do this one for a while.
There's a lot we could dive into in this movie. You probably won't. There's so much symbolism, the themes, but it's just so good, and it's probably been probably longer than I think. It's probably haven't seen it since probably been 6 years or so since I've watched this.
I want to say the last time I watched this was 2010, 2011, somewhere in there.
Okay. It's one I should probably watch more often. I should probably put it in the rotation for October.
Yeah.
Because it's so good. And it's just you could pour over like everything that happens in this, and just it still doesn't grow old and just grows deeper. Like I kind of want to. It's funny, like the movie's barely over 2 hours, but like I could spend. I would be more than happy to spend 3 hours with this movie.
Yeah,
just as they. I think if they put another hour, it's just them like diving more into the psychology and the motive and intent of what's happening.
A couple of the days are kind of rushed in this movie.
Yes,
they could stretch a couple of those days out.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. Is like that's the thing I kind of forgot about. It's like it's a 2-hour movie, but like it's not much more over halfway in the movie where they like really pick things up and it just goes full throttle.
Yeah.
Because the first hour is kind of a nice little burn, and then it's like full throttle after that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, yeah, I'd be okay just spending a little bit more time with Morgan Freeman in his apartment,
Yeah.
throwing a knife at the dartboard.
Yeah.
Like he's like thinking over like all these different classic about the seven deadly sins and what's the serial killer trying to say, and
Yeah.
just go more into that psyche. I think it inspired the length that it is, but it's one of those movies that if it was closer to 3 hours, I'd be like, yeah, no, it's fine. Like because the characters are so well developed.
Yes, they are. They really are. And I could stand for them to go a little bit deeper into the whole connection with Dante's Inferno and
Oh yes,
Paradise Lost.
it's
and
fascinating.
all those books, the classic books that he uses as inspiration.
I would be more than happy to spend time as Morgan Freeman just goes to a library to read about them.
Yeah.
And watch Brad Pitt read the Cliff's Notes.
Yes. We never actually see Brad Pitt. I guess we do like once. We see him reading the Cliff's Notes.
He skims through it and then he throws it onto the passengers.
And then he throws it on. Yeah. But after that, we don't really see him open them.
No, which is funny because we'll get to it, but like you can tell that he's read some of it because when they're having when they're talking about the case together.
Yeah, he's able to.
Oh yeah,
chime
what
in.
was that? He chimes in. Yeah, so he's done enough of his homework. But yeah, it's such a fascinating movie, and it's just oh man, the detail they go into, and yeah, it's a special movie. It really is. So
yeah, it is.
I would have to take a moment to think if I would either watch Zodiac again, see if I prefer Zodiac or this.
Okay. See, I've only seen part of Zodiac, so I can't compare the two at the moment.
Which are very different movies.
Yeah.
And I think people are expecting Zodiac to be more like this, and it's not. And Zodiac is a longer movie, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I would take this over Social Network. I know a lot of people put Social Network kind of as Fincher's pinnacle. I would put this above Social Network, Fincher. But I know Fight Club obviously has its fans too, and Fight Club's fine. It's never been my favorite.
Yeah, I would put this over Fight Club easy.
So
Fight
I don't have a problem with Fight Club.
Yeah, me neither. It's a good movie. It's it's an enjoyable watch. I think it's pretty overrated though.
Yeah, I would say so. And Fincher's a great director, and he's got he's got his own style, his own method. It's fine. And Fight Club, again, fine enough movie, but yeah, it never hit me in the same way that this has.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Now this has got to be, I think, of the Fincher movies that I've seen. Like I said, I haven't seen all of Zodiac, but this has to be my favorite Fincher movie that I've seen.
I would love to see Panic Room again. Also, I have not seen Panic Room since it was out in theaters.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it in theaters, and I think I saw it once after it came out on DVD.
And I liked it.
Years.
I liked it well enough in theaters, but I think when the people I saw it with, we were expecting more of a Fight Club 7 type of movie,
mm-hmm.
and it's not. And so now that I can kind of look at it more objectively after that different perception of it, maybe I might like it more. I don't know.
Maybe. But that's what this movie was missing. Since you mentioned
Jodie Foster?
No, Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, Forrest Whitaker, yes.
Yes, this movie was missing that Forrest Whitaker eye. That crazy eye.
Yes. I will be interested to see Fincher's sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which will focus on Cliff Booth. So yeah, we'll see about that one. So, but yeah, I don't know if I have a lot more to say before we jump into it.
Yeah, so let's jump
I
into
think
it.
we kind of hit a lot of the notes. So, yeah.
Let's get into it then. As always, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about this entire movie, beginning, middle, and end. So if you have not seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, pause the podcast, watch the movie, and come back and listen. If you have seen it or you just don't mind being spoiled, keep on listening. But we are going to spoil this entire movie. So you have been warned. And yeah, this movie does not hesitate to go right into the graphic world of homicide detective work.
Yeah. Right. It just begins with the first this establishing kind of scene is just Morgan Freeman, who we will discover. We don't have his name yet, but we'll give it to you.
Well, first we got the credits.
Well, the credits come in a little bit later, don't they?
Do they?
I think they establish kind of the it's kind of just a quiet opening.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because Morgan Freeman is at the first murder scene.
Yeah. So
first
he's just
where
in his
it's
apartment.
not actually one of the murders of the.
He's movie. Just in his apartment first, right? And he's in his little kitchen. It's, like you said earlier, it's a simple apartment, and he plays Detective William Somerset. But yeah, then we just see him get dressed, and he goes straight to this crime scene. And it's in an apartment, right? Kind of even more rundown than his. And this is, the cop that's there. It's controlling the scene. It's like, oh yeah, well these neighbors heard the screams, and which was even louder than they usually argue, that type of thing, right? And then it's like, someone mentions, it was a crime of passion, right? And Morgan Freeman's like, yeah, look at all that passion on the wall, mm-hmm. right? And it's like all this blood and tissue and all this stuff that's on the wall. Yeah,
it's basically, right? There's a wall. There's a brain on the wall.
Yeah. Maybe it's Marvin's.
Maybe. Maybe.
Right. And then someone mentioned that there's this kid that, that's that they had that but anyway, so he's just kind of looking through the scene, right? And then makes some type of comment to the cop that's there. And you're like, you know what? We're gonna be glad to get rid of you, Somerset. Right? Mm-hmm. And so that's when they kind of establishes that he's about to retire.
Yep. He's got 7 days left until he retires.
So as he's kind of leaving the scene, right? Another cop shows up. Another detective shows up. Brad Pitt.
He plays David Mills.
Right? And so he introduces himself to Somerset, right? And Somerset doesn't recognize him because they've met, but only on the phone. They have not met in person.
Yeah.
They've talked, right? And
well,
it's like, oh yeah, I'm Mills. Yeah, I just got
Somerset
in.
Do we meet Mills yet, or is that the next crime scene? Because I think this one is just Somerset.
That's right.
Because Mills comes in when they're not sure, with the first actual victim of the serial killer, where they're not sure if it was a murder yet.
Right. Yeah, they meet at that crime scene. They meet at the first crime scene. Well, they meet at the second crime scene, but the first crime scene in terms of the series. Yeah. But they're not certain that's a murder. That's right.
Yeah, because they. Yeah.
No. They do meet at the end of this.
Yeah, they meet here and then they get paired up to go to that one.
Yeah, because they start walking off because they have a conversation, right? Because Mills talks about how he just got back from the precinct and got everything in, and they mm-hmm. told him where he's going to be, all that type of thing. And again, now they're back outside, not in the apartment anymore. They're kind of walking down the city street, and again, it's raining. There's rain in probably 80% of this movie.
Oh, 90 easily. Anytime they're outside is raining.
Except for the climax, where it's nice and sunny.
Yes.
So, but Somerset's just interested. It's like, it's like, yeah, no, we spoke on the phone, but I'm just kind of curious about why here? Why they choose here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody chooses this city.
Right. Like it's like you fought to be like reassigned here. Like I can't quite make sense of that, right?
It's like this is the kind of place you end up. You don't choose to be here. But
Mills is Mills is kind of insulted a little bit. He's thinking like, oh, like you think I can't handle this type of thing. Brad Pitt's so good in this role. He really is.
He really is.
Really a good way of kind of shutting off kind of like that again, that cute persona, right? That handsome persona, maybe. Yeah.
And I mean, he lets his young cop show. He lets that brashness come out.
Oh, he does.
Whereas Morgan Freeman does a great job of being that seasoned. He's seen pretty much everything that there is to see detective. So
he's like, oh, you think you've seen stuff?
Riles him up, nothing surprises.
You haven't been here. You don't know what's in store. Like, no. You think you've seen shit? No, you haven't. It's like you're not prepared for what you're about to see, and you better be, you think you might know the psyche of these people, but no, you don't. You're not prepared for it, and that's kind of an ongoing theme of the movie, right?
Yeah,
it persists, and by the end of the movie, like they will develop a respect for each other.
Yeah,
but anyway, and I also like he has
pretty well before the end.
Brad Pitt, yeah, definitely before the end. Yes, I like how Mills wears the same tie.
Yes,
the entire movie.
Yes,
it's got basketball. It's got basketball and a basketball net on it.
It is a 90s tie. It is a mid-90s tie.
Whereas Somerset dresses a little bit more plainly, right? He's got, just a black pair of dress pants, white shirt, and usually like a black or gray tie.
Yep.
Very simple,
but
also kind of timeless.
Very Morgan Freeman.
Right. Very, very Morgan Freeman, right.
But yeah, so and
then they mentioned that it's going to be, I guess this is Somerset's last week on the job.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, they mentioned he has 7 days before he retires.
7 days before he retires.
And so he's basically been partnered with Mills so that, he can sort of train him in how to be a detective in this city.
Exactly.
And so, so they get back to the precinct. The 14th precinct.
Yes.
And is this when they're talking to Arlie Ermy? Or did they come in later?
They come in later. I think they just kind of get back.
Yeah, that's right. His first scene.
Credits.
Yeah, his first scene is later. It's
after the second crime scene. The first. Anyway, it's not yet. They cut to the credits now.
Yeah.
Once they kind of get back, and this is when it's just this is so iconic, and it really inspired opening credit sequences for the next 10 years.
Yes, it did. But yeah, the music comes up. It's just really just.
And it's it's a remix of 9 Inch Nails' Closer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why you say okay, James Howard's doing the score for this movie. It's not Trent Reznor, but Trent Reznor is in this movie.
Hey, Howard Shaw.
Howard Shore.
Howard Shore, yeah. Howard Shore doing the music for this.
Not James Howard, Howard Shore, sorry.
Yeah, so Howard Shore's doing the music. But yeah, it's...
But you got they use a remix of, Closer by 9 Inch Nails.
And it really fits with the mood of the movie.
Oh, it does.
It really fits with it. But yeah, while they're doing that, it's just showing quick flashes of, murder victims and evidence and all this stuff.
And then there's these hands cutting things out and they're a little bit deformed. It's these quick things, and it's just.
And the credits are written out.
It's through
in
a filter,
sort of a sloppy handwriting.
Yes. Which makes sense once you find out later.
Yes.
And like I said, there's these mangled hands, and there's just different pieces of paper cut out and pictures cut out of magazines, right? And just
the word God cut out of "In God We Trust" on the back of a dollar bill.
Right?
Like basically, like someone's cutting words out of magazines and stuff to make a ransom note or something.
Something like that, yeah. Or one of those school projects where you have to kind of create a collage.
Yeah, a collage, a serial killer collage. We all had to do those in like third grade. All right, class, everyone pick a serial killer and make a collage. I want John Wayne Gacy. I love clowns.
Oh, goodness. Wow. Oh, goodness. We really went there. Yeah. Anyway, the credits, it finishes up, right? And all this will kind of make sense later. We can tie it back in when appropriate.
Yeah.
But the credits end, and then we get the first title card. And this is where it says Monday. And I think this time we're at Mills' apartment. And right, he's you can see those boxes still unpacking in the apartment.
He just moved in.
And he's putting his tie on. He's a type that will not, he uses the same tie, so he doesn't untie it, right? He just loosens it. He puts it back over his head, and
he tightens it up.
Tightens it back up, right? That's how he is, right? And then we see him with 2 coffees outside, and he runs into the car, right?
So it's raining, and he's sitting there kind of huddled, holding the 2 cups of coffee. And Somerset
and
gets
he gets
out of
in the car with Somerset.
Well, no, Somerset gets out of the car because he's standing there waiting because he's at the crime scene. He's standing there just waiting, and Somerset.
That's right. He's waiting at the crime scene for Somerset. That's right.
And so Somerset gets out. Mills offers him a coffee. Nice gesture. Nice gesture for your new partner.
Yes, very nice.
But
what cop doesn't like coffee?
But Somerset, turns it down. And so Mills just sort of leaves it on the wall at the fence and follows Somerset up to the house or up to the apartment where the victim is. And they're greeted by one of the officers on the scene. And so as they're being led up there, Mills hands the guy his coffee. And they go in, and
it's an apartment complex, right?
Yeah, it's an apartment.
But they get led into this one apartment.
This one apartment that's just filthy. It's just
filthy.
Like, you step in there, you wonder if you're going to get some disease just from walking into the place.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That type of thing.
And there's this corpulent fellow sitting
on his kitchen table.
Kitchen table. They're telling him, as they're walking up, they're like, the guy's dead. Like, how do you know? Did you check? It's like, no, his face is in his spaghetti.
Yeah, it's like, and like, I've been here for like an hour, and
he hasn't
even gurgled. Right? Like, he's dead.
So, yeah, but there's this huge guy sitting at the table with his face down on a plate of spaghetti. And Somerset goes up and, he's checking out the body, goes and feels for a pulse, doesn't feel anything. He's like, he's dead. And
by the way, Bob Mack plays this victim, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the casting call described him as a very heavy guy face down in spaghetti.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I think they nailed it. He does seem like a very heavy guy, and he is face down in spaghetti. Anyway, so the cop that's there points out a bruise on his head. Or was it Somerset that saw the bruise on his head?
That's a good question.
I think
I don't know if I have.
I think Somerset saw the bruise and asked about it. And the guy's like, "Oh, I don't know where that came from."
That's what it was. Yes. Right. Again, Somerset's a detective, and he's a very keen, observant detective.
And
right?
Mills is sort of over on the other side of the kitchen, and he's sort of looking around. And so Somerset calls Mills over and has him look at the bruise, and Mills goes up. Oh yeah, he had a gun to his head. You can see the front sights. You can see the imprint of the front sights on, like it's flush with the barrel. So he had a gun pressed to his head.
Right. I like this little detail. Like Mills is brash and overconfident, but he still knows his stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You know, we'll get to other things later where, okay, he might not be intellectual, but no, he's smart in his own ways that, you know, he ends up complimenting Somerset fairly well as we get through the movie.
Yeah, he really does. But, you know, so then they determine that, oh yeah, this is a murder. He was forced to, you know.
Well, then they see that. Like,
then they look down his hands and ankles.
Feet. Yeah, his ankles.
They're tied with barbed wire. They're not just tied, they're tied with barbed wire. And there's a bucket under the table.
And so Mills looks at it.
He gets right above the bucket, and then
he doesn't even look into it. He can just smell it. It's full of vomit.
Yeah. So, you know, he gets out from under the table, and he's, you know, trying to blow his nose, get the smell out of his nose.
That's when Somerset tells him to help the other officers to interview the rest of the people in the complex to see, you know, if they heard or saw anything, right? He's like I know, like I've done that before. I don't need to do that now. Yeah. Right? I
did my time into it, you know, hitting the pavement.
Which I get, but I think, you know, it's again, Somerset kind of sees him as a still kind of, you know, green.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like they're giving him some space to get his nose kind of clear and his head right, and he can just kind of focus himself on what he does, right?
Yeah. So then it cuts back to the car. They're driving back to the precinct, and Mills, it's like, I don't know why you had me go and question people. You know,
you've seen my files. You know what I've done.
You know what I've done. You know I'm not a rookie, and so I mean he's starting to, you know, show his brashness. He's starting to show his his frustration.
And he's not willing, you know, he's willing to, you know, voice it. You know, he's not timid, right? Some people might not like it, but they might not speak up in the way he does because, again, he's brash.
So, and then, you know, they get back to the precinct, and Somerset is convinced that this should not be Mills' first case.
Yeah, he's convinced that something large is going on here. It's like
he's convinced something bigger is going on. Yeah, he and Mills should not have this case as his first one with the precinct in this city.
Right,
and he doesn't want it as his last one before retirement.
He's too cocky. Yeah, you know, he sees Mills is too cocky, too brash, and like he realized like there's something big here happening. Right, there's not a lot of evidence. Like this was done by someone that had a lot of patience. Yeah. This was not like a crime of passion or no, like whoever did this was very deliberate and methodical. And he says like, this is beginning. There'll be something else. There'll be more to this. Yeah. And of course, you know, like now this is when their captain is there.
Yes. Right? Arlie Ermy.
Because it's the three of them. Arlie Ermy is his first scene. Right.
And yeah, and Somerset tells him, I don't want this to be my last case before I retire. Give it to somebody else, but don't give it to Mills because
don't give it to
he
Mills.
does not need
find
this as his
someone
first
else. One. And they don't really get. Oh, this Emery not even. Did they give him a name?
No, they just call him
he's
captain.
just the captain. He's the captain.
Police captain.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. And so it kind of ends with that, and that's when we then get Tuesday.
Well, no, first
we have a scene with them in the morgue.
Yes, we have a scene.
With
No,
the doctor.
That's Tuesday though, isn't it?
Well, is it?
Yes, because
there's a scene where it's the two of them with the
it's after it's not the same day. I don't think it's or is it that same Monday? So I thought that was Tuesday that they go to the morgue.
Maybe it is Tuesday.
Because
like Tuesday, I mean, they kind of get separated, and they don't do a lot together Tuesday.
No, they don't. But
no, they go to the morgue earlier. Yeah.
Okay.
And
so later on Monday,
they talk about how the guy's stomach burst.
Yeah, they talk about how it burst
because he just ate himself to death.
Yeah, he just kept on eating until his stomach burst.
And they just kind of figured that whoever it was put the gun to his head and told him that he was either going to keep eating or he was going to pull the trigger.
Yeah. And then they mentioned
he kept eating.
Then they mentioned that in the bag that they found, in the grocery bag, they found 2 receipts. Meaning that
2 receipts.
Meaning that the killer, halfway through, went to the store and bought more food.
Right. Which is why yes, exactly. And that's why Somerset's so convinced, like, no, we can't put him on this. Right? Because he realized, like, no, like he went back and forth like that and left this guy like that. Like, no, he had patience and willpower.
And then
to do this.
And they're they're wondering how there are no witnesses.
Prints on the receipt.
Yeah. No prints anywhere. And then, they're wondering how if he left and to go to the store and came back, how are there no witnesses?
Mm-hmm.
And so then after that, then we're back at Somerset's apartment, and he's getting ready for bed. He's laying in bed, reading a book.
Yes.
And he goes to put the book up, and then he starts a metronome.
That's right. He has a metronome. All he's got 2 bedside tables.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He lives by himself. He's not married. And so he has on the one side, he puts down his book, like on his right hand side. On his left hand side, he just go ahead. He goes ahead.
Metronome.
He starts his metronome.
I really like this touch.
Yes, I do too.
Really like this detail of this movie because he's got the metronome because it's showing that he is a veteran detective. He's seen everything, and this is the only way that he can sleep. This is the only way that he can shut down his brain, that he can, be able to zone out everything he's seen.
It's really, really brilliant touch. I agree. Because you can tell, like, there's the weight on him of everything he's seen. And again, he's single, so it's not like he's got someone to spill off on. Right?
And even then, if he had someone, the kind of stuff he's experienced, that's not something you want to burden on somebody else.
No. Right? And so, like, he's got the metronome, and the other times, he just has his dartboard, and he doesn't use darts. No. He has his little pocket knife.
He has a switchblade.
Right? And,
and it shows it shows the dartboard with a switchblade stuck in it as it's panning through his apartment to his bedroom.
Right? And again, it's a pretty simple apartment. Right? Nothing fancy to it.
Smaller than Mills' apartment.
It's probably a little bit better because as we'll discover about Mills' apartment later. But anyway, so he goes to bed, and we get the next title card, which is Tuesday. And now we're with Somerset again,
and he is in his office.
And he's going.
This is when he's
in his office.
I think so. Isn't this when he gets there and he's in his office and the guy is he's scraping the Somerset off of his door?
Well, no. So that comes out. No, first we're with Mills. We're with Mills first. and then we go to Somerset.
Yeah.
So with Mills.
So with Mills, and
Mills
he's got his own case now.
He's walking into a lobby of this skyscraper, and we get this news report about this
lawyer,
noted defense attorney in the city has been found murdered, right? And he goes in, and there's about to be a press conference with the district attorney, played by Shaft. Because I love how Shaft has become the district attorney of his city.
Yes, I love it.
Right. Martin Talbot, by the way, is his name.
No, his name is Shaft.
But he
Shaft.
It's Shaft.
So DA Shaft is, he's talking. He's doing the press conference.
Oh my, you're damn right.
And what's funny is a few episodes ago, we had Isaac Hayes in Escape from New York.
That's right.
And now we have Shaft.
He's got a little uncredited cameo in Shaft. Anyway, yes, it all comes together. Who knew how much Escape from New York would really
right?
tie the room
everything together. It really is. Yes. Escape from New York is the Big Lebowski rug of this podcast.
I think we picked the right John Carpenter movie.
I think so too.
We will do more.
We will do more Carpenter movies.
We picked the right one to be the first one.
Yes.
So we see before DA Shaft's about to speak to the press, we see Mills kind of going through the lobby, and he kind of goes up to the staircase, and he gets up to the office, right? The crime scene.
It's like the
cops there already.
And he's in there, and he's standing in the middle of the room, and you see the dead body, and then greed is written across the carpet in blood. Right? And this guy's kind of knelt down in the middle of his office, right? And it's obviously it's this huge office, right? He's on his knees with his face in the carpet, and he's wearing women's panties kind of thing.
Yes. And then near there is the your typical lawyer scales. Now we don't get the full details about all of it yet, right? We're just we see the greed, we see him like that, we see the scales, and we see again. Most of this movie's kind of in these really dark, grimy apartments, or just kind of very basic. This is a large apartment, a large office, right? And he's a noted defense attorney, right? He's rich, right? Obviously, because it says greed, right? So, this is one of the few scenes. It's filmed kind of a brighter tone, but it's still not it's. The palette's still not it's a cheerful.
Yeah.
Right. There's this, they got sun. You have some sun coming through, right? But again, it's very beige, beige.
But so what gets me is they explain later why his pants were down. But was he wearing women's panties, or was that just black briefs? Because they looked a little more satin than what your typical lawyer might wear.
Yeah, I don't know. This was the mid-90s.
I don't know.
Guy might have been coked out. I don't know.
The serial killer is not the kind of guy that would necessarily dress this guy up.
No, he wouldn't. Anyway, it's a good question. Yeah. Someone might have the answer for us. I don't know. And that was the before I get to the next little aspect of this crime scene. The uh, Gene Borcan, it plays this victim. Eli Gould. He is one of the few victims we actually get a name for. Also,
Yeah.
Eli Gould. And I had a note somewhere earlier about Gene Borcan, who he really is, but the whole thing with him, like, he renegotiated with like SAG to get more money.
Hmm.
For this scene, I think. So,
well, I mean, maybe that's because during this entire scene, he's, on the floor with his ass in the air.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what it was. Like, I don't think he understood that he might be nude for this. So, yeah. But then we get, Mills. He sits down and he looks across, and there's a photo on the desk of a woman,
with
right?
blood circles around her eyes.
Blood circles around the eyes, and there's, kind of the blood kind of drips down like the cheeks, like it's kind of crying a little bit or whatever.
Oh, or just blood dripping on glass on the picture frame.
Or it's just blood dripping. Exactly. Right. And that's when it cuts to Somerset, and he's in his office, and he's on his typewriter, and there's a guy there scraping off his name off his door.
Yes.
Right. And the captain comes in.
George Christie is the guy, the workman who's scraping his name off of his door. It's one of the underrated performances of this movie, I think.
No, he does a good job. We forgot to say this earlier, like, as grizzled and as kind of downcast as Somerset can be, he's also very polite.
Yes, he is.
Because later, doesn't happen yet, a little bit later in the scene, you very politely ask him to stop doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
He says, hey, he says, like, oh, excuse me, could you please stop doing that? And he doesn't say it in a condescending way. He asks it very politely. So anyway, so the captain comes in and they start talking, right? And it's kind of still somewhat of a continuation about earlier, making sure that he's sure he doesn't want to take any of these cases, right? And then Somerset brings up a case
he's like,
about some guy that
you need to take this case, and
oh yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, Somerset brings up. So there's a guy.
Another case about. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he brings up a case where he's like, "There's this guy out walking his dog, and
that's right.
Somebody comes up to rob him and shoots him, and the guy lays dead in the ground. That was last night.
It was like 4 blocks from here, right? And his captain's like, "Yeah, I heard about that." It's like, "Yeah, no, not like." None of this makes sense. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I've done this for long enough. It's someone else, right? So they continue talking, and that's when he's like, "Oh, they're in the morgue, and they found this in the victim's stomach, right?"
And he holds up a little jar. He's like, "Looks like plastic. Looks like little pieces of plastic. They found it mixed in. They think it was mixed in with his food."
Yeah, because it was like fed to him, right? And then I think they also talk. They show him. He shows him the scenes, some of the shots from the scene too, where, he's okay. He sees kind of the broadcast of D.A. Shaft.
Yeah,
D.A. Shaft. He's getting testy with the press.
Yes. D.A. Shaft is getting very Shaft-like with the press.
It's like, he's like, "No, we will, we, even though our department has had differences with Eli Gould, we will make sure we find the perpetrator of this." Like, and I'm insulted that you think we will not care about this case. Because my name is Shaft, damn it.
Damn right. I'm a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
So Yeah, so he sees the scenes, with the greed there on the floor, right? But then when he hears that these things have been fed, these little chips have been fed to the
Yeah,
other
you can
victim,
kind of see
he decides to go back to the crime
the
scene.
gears start turning in his head. And so before, no, I guess this is before he meets up with Mills again. But yeah, he goes back to the crime scene.
Right, it's been sealed back up, right? So he gets out his switchblade, he cuts the seal,
the police tape.
Yep,
The
he
seal
goes
on the
in,
door,
and he's looking around. He's in the kitchen. He sees the fridge, and he looks down at the floor.
And
he sees these little grooves
in the floor. And he pulls out one of those pieces of plastic, and he sort of unrolls it a little bit and lays it down, and it fits perfectly in one of the grooves of the floor, showing that this isn't necessarily plastic, it's linoleum. Off the floor, off the kitchen floor. And so he pulls the fridge out, and
we
see that the feet on the fridge go right over these grooves, and that's what caused the grooves when the fridge was pulled out.
So he pulls out that fridge further,
and he looks behind it.
He gets out his little flashlight, and he shines it behind there, and then he sees something that's written.
Yes, he sees gluttony. Written, like, first off, the wall behind the fridge is just covered in grease. And then it looks like somebody's taken their finger and just written gluttony in the grease. And then there's a note that's stuck on a nail right under the word gluttony. And he goes and grabs the note, rips it off the nail, and then leaves the apartment.
And now we get back to the precinct, and you have him with Mills and the captain.
Mm-hmm. They're in the captain's office this time.
And he's mentioning, okay, well, we had your victim here this morning. They have greed written on the floor. Well, I went back. I pulled out the fridge, and I found this written in grease behind the fridge.
And then he goes over to Mills, picks up the picture from his file, and he picks it up, and now we have gluttony and we have greed. Which means we can expect 5 more.
Captain and Mills, the first like, well, was it? Well, that means like, oh, we can expect 5 more of these. Because we got the 7 deadly sins.
7 deadly sins.
He counts them off. Right?
Yeah. Greed, gluttony, pride, lust, wrath, envy. And what's the final one, Tony?
Wait, say the ones again. I was looking ahead, so I didn't hear the 4 that you said.
Gluttony, lust, pride, envy, wrath, and...
Okay. Did we say... Wait, you said we got gluttony, we got greed... Go again. Sorry, I gotta focus. I gotta focus, I'm sorry.
We got greed.
I heard wrath, I heard envy,
greed.
I heard sloth. Did you say
gluttony.
Sloth? Did you say sloth?
I did not say sloth. Sloth is the last one.
There we go, it said sloth. I'm being slothful.
Yes, he got greed, gluttony, pride, lust, sloth, wrath, envy.
I do like that how he lists them is not how the list will go later.
No.
Let's say that right here. So yeah. But then he says like I can't get involved. But he still says this. Like this is definitely the beginning. There's going to be 5 more. I can't get involved.
Yeah, this is my last week. I cannot have this be the case I go out on.
But like he's going to need help still.
And then he's like, "Well, who do I give it to?" And he points at Mills. He's like, "He wanted it." So now he's fine with Mills taking it because Mills isn't going to give up on wanting this case.
Yep.
And Mills is like, yes, I'll take it.
So he's like, yeah, Mills is happy. Like this, like he's ready to make his mark.
Mm-hmm.
And a serial killer, like facing his Office of Deadly Sins, that seems like perfect, right?
Yeah.
So we stick with that night, and then we get back to Somerset in his apartment. Then he calls a cab. We see him get in a cab. And the cab says like, "Oh, where are you going?" And he just tells, far away from here. But where he's going is a library.
Yes, he's going to the library.
Right? And that's where we meet Sam, the bus driver.
Yes.
In this case,
Sam, the bus driver.
The night security.
Yes.
George. I'm guessing probably the main branch of this city's library.
Yes.
Of this city's library system.
Yes. So
right?
Sam, the bus driver, is George, the night guard at the library in this movie.
And there's probably a half dozen guards here, right?
Yeah.
And again, it's a library, so it's not like they're night watchmen at some large corporate office.
Yeah, it's not like a whole lot of people are going to break in to read.
Somerset would.
Yes, Somerset would. But yeah, so all the guards are up, upstairs, this little loft area,
playing poker.
And there's nobody in this library other than the guards in Somerset.
Yeah. And so Somerset, he spends all night finding different books. He finds Chaucer, he finds Dante, and he's getting all these books. He's reading through them. He goes ahead, he starts photocopying. He's getting free photocopies.
Yes.
They probably keep wondering, why do we keep going through reams of paper?
Because Detective Somerset was here last night.
Accounts payable, this does not match up.
Anyways, I love how when he's getting situated there, when he's getting all set up, and he yells up to George. He's like, "Hey, you guys have all these books at your disposal, and you sit up there and play poker." And then George is like, "Well, how's this for culture?" And he turns on classical music and then cranks up the volume.
Classical music, and then you also get Isaac Hayes mixed in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Then D.A. Shaft busts through the door.
Oh, yeah!
Like the Kool-Aid Man.
Anyway, so he reads through all his different books. He makes all these photocopies. And he makes a little packet.
Yeah.
He goes back to the precinct and drops it off on Mills's desk.
Well, he also writes a note. He makes all these photocopies, then he writes a note. He's like, "Mills, you might check out these. These are relevant to
check these out. The start here."
Yeah.
Right? Because, I think it's the kind of thing, it's he wants Mills, not just see all the evidence. He wants Mills to get into the brain of this guy.
And that's where I really like Somerset's character here, because sure, he just met Mills the day before, and Mills honestly has not been all that likable to him.
Yeah, no,
really,
not at all.
And he understands that Mills is going to be who this precinct is relying on for the detective work,
right? Yes.
And so he wants to help him, despite their differences. He's willing to spend all night pouring through books at the library. I mean, how many of us remember doing reports in the 90s where there was no internet?
Yes.
Or very limited internet. And you had to go to the library and spend hours looking through books to write these reports.
That's right.
He was willing to spend the entire night pouring through these books, finding relevant passages, finding relevant texts, to help Mills along with this case.
No, I think I didn't think about that point. That's a really good point. I like it. It shows this side that, he still cares about these cases and they're done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it shows he's very, again, also shows, he's very an astute observer.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he very easily could have just left it in Mills' hands and, just gone and enjoyed his last week as a cop.
Yep. He's like, this needs to be solved, and he needs help. He's going to need a lot of help with this, which he said before. And he's like, you know what? This is the best. You know what? I can help him, at least maybe point him towards the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves it off. Gives a nice note, and that's it. Yeah, that's a good point.
So the next morning, when he gets to work, he drops the envelope off on Mills's desk.
And that's when we get the scene where we have a scene, again, in the rain, where there's another officer, a deputy, that gives Mills a package, and it's a bunch of Cliff Notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he kind of flips it and was like, oh, I don't know.
Well, first he's got the book.
That's right. He has the book.
So he's got the Divine Comedy. He's trying to read it. And he just can't get it.
He's like, damn, Dante.
And so that's what he throws.
Because,
that's what he throws on the passenger seat. And then the other officer comes up and, gives him the envelope full of Cliff's Notes.
If you the Divine Comedy or Dante might be well enough known, but in case you don't know, it's not written in prose.
No,
it's written in verse.
Yeah.
So it might it's not necessarily the easiest thing to read. So, right.
And I mean, this is coming from the two people that had to translate the Aeneid from Latin into English in high school.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We also translate Catullus.
Yep.
And Ovid. Hey, it built character.
Yes, it did.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll.
Thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Yes, thank you, Mr. Driscoll. Best teacher ever.
We also thank you for the Guess Who time.
Yes. Yes, thank you for giving us the time to be able to develop a new way of playing Guess Who.
Does your person look like they slept with Shaft?
Why, yes. Now, is that Shaft or DA Shaft?
Ooh. Shaft. It was Shaft.
Yeah.
DA Shaft, nah. He's at a different point in his life.
Yeah, DA Shaft is after Shaft started to settle down a little bit.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. So anyway, after he's kind of gets back to the precinct and flipping through those Cliff Notes and complaining about Dante and verse, right? No, he's lucky. Again, he is lucky he didn't have to translate the Aeneid. Anyway, they do go down the hill there, which is why, again, I mean, that's why Virgil is the one that leads. And it all ties together. It ties together.
He was also reading it in English.
He was reading it in English. Yes,
he didn't have to translate it.
Yeah. So, yep.
We were given the Latin and we had to make it English.
And I mean, had to go down like 5 lines sometime to find the verb.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
No wonder no one speaks Latin anymore.
Oh, they're back in Somerset's office, which is soon to become Mills's office, right? And the phone rings, and really, Somerset kind of sees it as Mills's office now because he tells it's like that. It's your office. You answer it, and he answers it. He kind of gets embarrassed. He's like, "I told you not to call here."
Yeah.
And then he's like,
"What? Really?
Oh.
Seriously?"
And he looks at,
okay. And he hands the phone to Somerset. He's like, "It's for you. It's my wife. She wants to talk to you."
And they start talking like tonight. Oh, okay. Well,
he's like,
I'll be delighted. And he hands Mills the phone back. And he's getting ready to talk to his wife, and she's already hung up.
She's already hung up. He just gets a dial tone. And then he's like, "What she want?" And Somerset's like, "She invited me over to dinner at your apartment." It's like,
"I'm coming over tonight."
It's like, "Yeah, I'm coming over tonight."
It's gonna be a devil's three-way.
Well, with the way that Tracy, Gwyneth Paltrow, you know, the way that she acts like she's known Morgan Freeman forever. You know, she just welcomes him right in. Yeah, there's really they don't really have that whole getting to know you phase.
So, as you said, his Mills' wife is Tracy, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and he shows up, right? And they have two dogs, the loud dogs, right? And then, they get to talking, and she's making drinks for them, and talks about how they were high school sweethearts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, he was really the funniest guy." And Somerset looks at him and is like,
"Really,
really?" Because he's kind of he's kind of playing with the dogs. They kind of come in together, right? Mm-hmm. They finish the day at work, and they go together back to the their apartment, right?
And I love how when they walk in, then Mills introduces Somerset as Somerset, and Tracy's like, "Okay, so what's your first name?" And Mills kind of just gives him this look.
It's like, I don't think I've asked him that.
I don't think I know his first name. Somerset's like, "William. My name is William." And Tracy's like, "Okay, well, William, this is David." So David, William, David. Now you've met.
Very classic names, right? So they have their dinner, they have their drinks, right?
And they're sitting around the table. They're enjoying the conversation. They're having a great time.
They are.
I mean, even Mills seems to be enjoying himself.
Yes, he does.
And then the apartment starts shaking.
I kind of feel like this is the ultimate icebreaker that finally kind of breaks it, so they can finally be all comfortable together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And then it's like Bill's like, "Oh yeah, well that's the one thing. Like we thought it looked great, everything seemed nice about the place. It was a good deal, but I always wondered why the real estate guy only kept us here for 10 minutes at a time."
Yeah. Because every time the train goes by, the place shakes.
That's just DA Shaft. He's got the upstairs apartment. Yeah.
Bringing his Guess Who ladies over.
So, but they get into things a little bit. They're like, well, like, why did you get married? They're like, well, I'm a little disagreeable, as your husband can attest to. Yeah, so how long have you lived here? He's like, too long.
He says, she asks Somerset if he's ever been married, and he's like, no, came close once, but it didn't work out.
Yep. So it's like, yeah, so and like, well, do you like it here? It's like, well, I've been here, right? Again, they're being vague. Again, they're just calling it here, or call it the city. They're not calling it anything specific. And again, it just keeps the nice kind of anonymous nature to it. It's any place, any city, it doesn't matter. All that matters is this place just feels like it sucks the life out of it.
Could be New York, could be LA, could be Chicago, could be Cleveland.
Could be Cleveland. It might be Chippewa Falls.
It might be.
It might be Sheboygan. Very big in Sheboygan.
Sheboygan. Yes, it might be Sheboygan. Yes, with the Kenosha Kickers is Somerset's favorite band.
Hey, could be Dooley in Wichita.
Mm-hmm.
Since your friend's never been to Wichita, I thought he might want to see around.
Mm-hmm.
Take him to Braidwood Inn. You never know. So anyway, so they finish dinner, and then Tracy goes to bed, and they stay up, right? And they're kind of poring over the case, specifically the scene with the lawyer, right?
Yeah.
And we find out on that scale was 1 pound of his flesh.
Well, they do that after they go and visit the crime scene. After Mills takes Somerset to the crime scene.
Oh, so he takes him to the crime scene. That's right. Takes him to the crime scene. And they discover, there's 1 pound of his flesh that was on the scales. Right? And that's when Somerset's like, oh, that's a reference to Merchant of Venice.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
A pound of flesh.
And the reason why they end up going over there is because Somerset tells him, Mills tells him about the photo with the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, maybe she's actually supposed to be looking at something,
when they're
supposed to be looking at it.
So they're when they're at the apartment, they're looking through after dinner. They're looking through the photos, the crime scene photos, and everything. And
that's right. And then they come to
Somerset tells Mills that in a case like this,
that's
you
right.
can't look at the whole thing.
Find one item,
one detail, and you exhaust that detail till it's no longer relevant.
Right.
And so then he's like, we just have to find that detail. And so then that's when
picture.
Yeah, that's when Mills brings up the picture, and Somerset sees it. He's like, that's the one.
Right.
And then that's when the apartment,
and the drink he asked for wine. He's drinking wine, and Mills kind of impressed that he's actually drinking something. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Mills goes to eat a beer. He offers him a beer. He's like, oh, wine, please.
Right. He's like, oh, I think, well, they keep talking, Mills is like, Somerset's like, it's Mills like, oh, I think it's just punishing them. It's like, well, no, you might be preaching to us instead. Right. And the punishment's it's incidental to what he's actually doing. Right. And then it kind of gets back to there was no fingerprints.
Yeah. So, I mean, this conversation isn't very long. Right. Even though Mills pours Somerset a lot of wine. Takes a tall glass out and he fills it. But they don't. And Somerset doesn't really get to drink a whole lot of wine, and Mills doesn't really drink a whole lot of his beer before they call it a night.
Yep. And so they decide, they go to the scene because they look at the detail again. It's the photo with the woman, right? And she's looking.
So the next day, Wednesday, they go back there and they're looking at the scene. They find the pound of flesh on the scale, and they're looking at the photo, and then they're wondering. So the killer made him cut out a pound of flesh out of his own body. Now, if you were given a knife and you were told to cut a pound of flesh, where would you take it from? Where would be the least lethal place to take it from? And Mills is like, well, the love handles. And they look at the pictures, and the guy's sliced up the side where the love handles would be.
Yep. And then they pour over it, and then that's right. They end up going to the guy's wife's apartment.
Yeah, they determine that the picture is of the guy's wife.
They speak with her, and they're just like, okay, well, she's looking at something. Like, maybe she knows his office. Because she might be able to help us to say, well, maybe something's different in here than how it normally is.
Yeah, because Somerset interprets the picture with the circles around the eyes to be, well, maybe it's something that she saw or something she's supposed to see.
Right.
So then they go to talk to her.
That's why they go back to his apartment, or their apartment, right? And she's there, and she's still distraught over his death.
Yeah, and she's not wanting to look at the
First,
pictures
she's not
at all,
able to kind of help. And then she's able to calm down enough and look at it.
As she's flipping through.
No. This picture right here, this large painting. It's a modern art type painting. Yeah. Like that's upside down.
Like, oh, okay.
So then they go back to the crime
scene.
And
they, take that painting off the wall.
Take it off, and they're looking at it. It doesn't look like it's really been disturbed or anything, but
they do look at the back. It's got the
look at the back
wire, the hanging wire on the back, right? And Somerset notices that he unscrewed it so that he can move the wire down a little bit so that he could flip it upside down and hang it. So the wire's been moved, but that seems to be the only disturbance.
Right, because they open the back of it, right? And it's like, no, there's nothing in here.
Somerset takes out a switchblade and he cuts around. I love it when he pulls the switchblade out. Mill's like, what is that? He's like, switchblade. Just like it's nothing.
It's like, I carry it around me. Like, you don't carry a switchblade?
So he cuts through the paper on the back.
They're going to need to carry a switchblade around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he cuts through the paper on the back. They're hoping they're going to see something inside. And there's nothing on the back of this painting. So, okay, well, nothing with painting, but it was deliberately turned upside down.
Like, we're supposed to see something here. We are supposed to find something.
So Mills sort of goes off into the other room, and Somerset climbs up onto the little table that's under where the painting was, and he's looking at the wall. And then he pulls out his fingerprint duster. He starts dusting, and he gets over some prints.
We finally found prints. So they call the lab guys there, and they get their black light, and right,
and
they shine up their
fingerprints, spelling the words "help me." And so they run it through. They run it through the database, and the fingerprints belong to a local drug dealer.
Well, now, so that's the end of Wednesday. So we cut to Thursday, right? And they're still waiting for.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because they're sitting there.
Yeah,
because so Wednesday they're still sitting there. They're sitting there with the guy with his computer, going through all the prints, and they're just sitting there expecting something to pop up. And the guy's like, "Hey, I've seen this thing take 3 days to confirm a print. So
you might want to do something.
You might want to go and do something else." So, yeah, then it goes to Thursday, and they have results from the fingerprints, and it's this drug dealer, and so they're like, okay, well, this has got to be our killer. So they go to the guy's house. They go to his apartment, and like SWAT goes in first. So you got John C. McGinley leading the SWAT team.
He's the SWAT leader, as we said. Yep.
California. And they have the battering ram. They bust down the door.
And they have a conversation as they're driving over to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And Somerset says like, "Oh, he's only drawn his gun like twice."
Yeah,
or maybe 3 times.
Because Mills asks him, he's like, "So, have you ever drawn your weapon?" And he's like, "Yes, I've only drawn it twice with the intention to use it." And
right,
Mills is
he tells a story about like when he was like a rookie.
I've drawn it once and fired it once.
And it was, again, it was going to be kind of like a similar like SWAT type of raid, right? That he was on, right? And then he talks about how this other cop got shot and was killed in this.
Then he's like, "Why can't I remember his name?" He's like upset that he can't remember this guy's name.
Yeah,
which is understandable because he was a fellow officer.
So anyway. So they had that kind of conversation as they were riding to this guy's apartment, which is they find, what's his name? I have his name. Was my cast
Victor?
Theodore Victor Allen,
Played by Michael
played
Reed
by
McKay.
Michael Reed McKay. So they're going over there, and they get in, right? And there's no right now they can't see anything going on, right? They're going through the apartment a little bit, and again they're trailing behind the SWAT team, right? And they get in this room, and all of a sudden they realize from the ceiling it's a bunch of the pine tree
like
car scented
taxi cab
hangers.
air fresheners
They're
all over
over
this apartment.
They were all over the ceiling.
There are hundreds of them hanging from the ceiling in this apartment.
Right? And then they kind of move back to finally get to like the back bedroom. Right? And all of a sudden you get like John C. McGinley, he starts coughing a bit. It's like, right? Like all of a sudden, this they're getting much closer to the smell.
They see somebody under the covers on the bed.
That's right.
They've got their guns out. They're like, "Don't move!" All of a sudden, John C. McKinley goes up and he pulls the blanket off, and it's this super emaciated,
like corpse,
like
right?
just skin and bones.
The skin and bones, like it's pale, right? His face is like writhed up, right? And they call like, detectives, you gotta come here, you gotta see this, right? Type of thing, right? And they think he's dead.
Yeah, because he's not moving. And he's missing a hand. His left hand is missing.
No, John C. McGinley, right? Who I should say California, right? Since he's the team leader, he comes in. He's like, it's like, I hope it hurt you, son of a bitch. Right? Yeah. He's taking this chance to kind of like mock him. Yeah. He thinks he's dead.
Yeah, because they're convinced this is the killer. Because the fingerprints were at the scene of the Greed killing. And so, and Somerset notices the guy's hand has been cut off and then sewn back, then sewn over. And it's a recent job, recent-ish.
Before we get to that part, I should just bring up again about the Greed killing. Is that one of the details we're trying to figure out is because, like, they found the body on, I think it was Tuesday, and it was, like, right after a holiday, I think they said. And so, like, they were trying to figure out how the killer got in and out.
So he could have come in on Friday and then.
But it was over the weekend. It could have been over a Friday, and did he wait? Was what they were wondering. Like, he just kind of wait. So, this is kind of that detail is going on, too. So, kind of forgot about that small aspect. But, again, typical detective type of thinking that's going on.
So, they're looking over this guy. They're looking over this body in the bed. Super emaciated, and above his head on the wall is written sloth.
That's right. It says sloth. Yes.
And so they get up close to get a closer look at him, and he wakes up.
He wakes up and he just starts
like gasping,
writhing in pain,
gasping for breath, and
he's like, right, and he's freaking out,
but he's strapped to the bed too.
He's strapped.
He is strapped to the bed, so he couldn't get up if he wanted to. If he was able to. If he was physically able to, he wouldn't be able to get up. But then Somerset finds some pictures, some photos taken from different times, different points in time, and that are of this guy.
Yes.
He's got recent ones where he looks like he does now, and then there's some where he's not quite as, emaciated, not quite as rough looking.
Progression.
And then he sees one where he's relatively normal looking, and that was from a year ago today.
Yeah, which is so like this is. I think we can kind of dive into some of this towards the end once we get the full picture of everything, right? But it's like it seems like at this point, like okay, so we have gluttony, greed, and now sloth, right? And greed seems like that just happened again. It was very recent and just happened over a matter of maybe a few days, whatever it might be. Right? It was kind of a quick.
Definitely took a little while.
But sloth
still
started before.
Yeah,
gluttony.
Gluttony took a little while, but still at the same time, gluttony wouldn't have taken a long time because it's just basically force feeding somebody until their stomach bursts.
Right. again, there's 2 receipts, as we said
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah. But
So
yeah, Sloth, that took some time.
it took time. I mean,
Sloth took a year.
that's dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, this person is meaning to say something. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point now, like Somerset really can't get beyond. Like he's kind of sucked into this at this point.
Yeah.
There's no getting around that.
Yeah. So, they call an ambulance and they get Victor out of there and rush him to the hospital.
They rush him to the hospital, but they're still at the crime scene, and they're talking about things. And there's this reporter that comes up, right?
Yeah. So
And he's
they're
trying
out
to
in the
take
hallway.
pictures.
They're out in the hallway.
The hallway, right? And they're in the stairwell.
And-
The hallway and they're the stairwell, right?
Yeah, and this photographer comes up and snaps a picture of them real quick, and Mills gets
This sets
pissed.
Mills off.
It sets him off. He goes to try to chase this photographer away.
And Somerset's like, no. They do this, like
Yeah,
they
do this.
pay off
They pay off
some
the cop,
deputy, some cop, so they can get to the scene and get pictures and all this. It's like
So
this
just
is
let
normal.
it go. Just let it go.
Just let go.
And,
Like you don't need to get angry,
and Mills is like, I hate people like that. I can't stand them. And this.
right? And then you hear like the photographer like it's like okay, right? So they're there, and then I guess it cuts.
So they're back
But,
at the station. They're back at the station because
Well,
then
we see them at the hospital because they talk with the doctor at the hospital about like the extent to what happened to the sloth victim and how there's no way he's gonna like survive this. That's what Peter Crombie plays that actor, that doctor,
Yeah.
Dr. O'Neill. So yeah, they're back at the station.
Is it Peter Crombie? Is it Dr. O'Neill, or is that Dr. Beardsley? I love how his name's Beardsley. He's got a beard.
That's Dr. Beardsley. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Richard
Richard
Portnow.
Portnow, Dr. Beardsley. Yes, who was in Sister Act, by the way.
Yes, he was.
Which I've not done. He was also, but no, the reason I'm glad you said this because he was in Kindergarten Cop because he plays Kimball's superior in Kindergarten Cop. He's the one that assigns the two together to go down to Astoria.
Yep.
So, yeah, Richard Portnow plays Dr. Beardsley. So, but yeah, we are on Friday now, right?
Well, when was it that they... Because weren't they back at the station when they were talking about... Maybe it was Friday that they mentioned it. But they're talking about how Victor, the sloth victim, was the perfect tenant. The landlord always had an envelope full of cash.
The rent was paid, and like there was never complaints.
Yes, it was paid in cash every month on time. Never any complaints. Never any noise coming from his apartment. He was the perfect tenant. Was that when they were at the hospital? They're talking about that.
They're talking about the hospital. Yes,
because this is when they fall asleep on the bench, isn't it? At the hospital.
Well, they fall asleep.
Or is that back at the...
I thought they fell asleep
station.
when they were first waiting for the fingerprints to come back.
Yeah, that's what it was.
But they're at the hospital, and the doctor tells them, like, oh, yeah, he chewed his tongue off.
Yeah.
Right?
So he wouldn't have been able to talk. He chewed his tongue off a long time ago.
But it's like, no, like, yeah, a long time ago, like, no, like, there's no way he's going to survive this. So, like, he's going to perish. Right? He's not going to give you anything at all. So, right? And then it cuts to Friday. And Somerset gets a message from Tracy about to meet him in the morning for breakfast, right? And so they're at this little diner cafe, right? They're in a booth for breakfast. And she's there, she's like, oh yeah, well, you know this city. But I don't want to be a burden for, David, right? And he's like, oh yeah, well, the conditions in the city are
so
horrible.
It's also before when she first called him to meet her, then he didn't think it was a good idea at first.
That's right.
He's like,
yes.
no, you shouldn't. You should be talking to somebody else. And she's like, I don't know anybody else. You're the only one I know.
She's still new to the city.
And so then he's like, okay, I'll meet you.
And what we don't realize is that what she wants to tell is like she is pregnant with their baby.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't know what
she
to do
doesn't
about
know
it
what to do about it. Yeah.
she
And
feels like the city's awful and she does not like being there.
and she doesn't.
And so he tells a
she
story.
doesn't think that a child should have to grow up in this city. And yeah, so he tells a story. Go ahead.
And it's kind of similar, and and how he convinced his girlfriend at the time to get rid of the baby. And how she didn't want to do it, and he slowly broke her down until she agreed to. And so, but it says like there's not, I don't really I believe now that I made the right decision, but there's not a day that goes by I don't regret it. It's like, but I can't answer what the right question for you is, or what the right answer for you is. All I know is that if you do keep the baby, like when he or she is born, that you need to spoil the crap out of that baby.
Yeah, so he's like, if you decide to not proceed with the pregnancy, then don't ever tell your husband. Don't ever tell David.
That's right.
That you were pregnant.
But if you do,
then you
gotta spoil the crap out of it.
Then spoil that baby every chance you get.
Yep. And that's when it cuts back to the precinct, and she's teary eyed, and she kind of chuckles at that and smiles. And the impression you get from that, I get from this, is like she's going to decide to keep the baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I took from it.
He's kind of saying, like, I think kind of what he's saying is part of it's like, you shouldn't stay here in this city, though, if you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Part of spoiling the baby is getting that baby out of here. Go somewhere else, somewhere quieter, somewhere with less crime, somewhere safer.
People don't, murder people according to 7 deadly sins.
Yeah.
As we cut back to the precinct, and this is actually, I have my notes here. This is when we get the update about, the landlord said this was the best tenant ever. Right? Of course he was.
Yeah.
He was tied up to a bed and someone paid his rent.
Yeah. So of course you never heard a peep out of him.
Right. But this is interesting here. So Mills calls him, the killer, a nutbag. And someone's like, no, we can't know that.
Yeah.
Like, no, this is someone that's like, he might, we might not be able to get into his brain. He might be kind of psychotic.
There are several times.
But he knows he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. There are several times.
If he was a nutbag,
Mills,
he wouldn't be this disciplined.
Yeah, exactly. There are several times in this movie where Mills just decides that this killer is insane. And every time Somerset corrects him, he's like, no, he's not insane. He's methodical. Yeah.
So they keep thinking, and finally he's like, He looks at, someone like, looks at Mills like, how much money do you have on you?
Mills like, about $50.
Okay. So they go to a laundromat, right? And they're just kind of sitting there, and then you got all the dryers and washing machines going.
Well, no, first they're at a little pizza place.
Oh, it's the pizza. No, it's the pizza place, not the laundromat. Thank you.
They're sitting in the pizza place, and
and then they're sitting on the same side of the booth, right?
They're sitting on the same side of the booth, right next to each other.
Mills is like, can't we sit on opposite sides?
Mills is like, can't you sit on the other side? And I don't want people to think that we're like dating.
Which is hilarious because, like, I don't know why they would think that.
Yeah.
But okay.
But and
then Mark Mills Jr. shows
Mills
up.
has a paper plate with a nasty looking piece of pizza on it.
Yeah, no, this is like a really shitty pizza parlor.
And Somerset doesn't have any pizza in front of him. I think he's just got like a cup of coffee or something. And then we get Mark Boone Jr. He walks in and he's clean shaven for once, but he's still all sweaty and greasy and all that. So he comes up and he sits down on the other side of the. Before he comes in, then Somerset gets some cash from Mills, and he puts it with some of his own cash, and he folds it up into a piece of paper.
Yep, and then pass it.
Mark Boone Jr. walks in and comes and sits down on the other side of the booth. So now there's 3 people at the booth. So
looks normal.
Mills can
3 dudes sitting in the booth, eating shitty
sit
pizza.
There. He can sit there, without thinking that everybody else thinks that they're dating. So, yeah. So yeah, they pass the money on to Mark Boone Jr. under the table.
And he tells them 1 hour.
Yeah, he tells them 1 hour. And then he gets up and leaves. And then
now it looks like they're dating again.
Yeah. And then
it's a barbershop they go to.
Yeah, cuts to a barbershop. Yeah, well, when Mark Boone Jr. leaves, he grabs Mills' pizza and takes it with him.
That's right. Was that scripted or was that improvised?
I don't know. But I like how he grabs his pizza because he doesn't grab the plate. He just grabs the pizza from the top. He just claws that pizza.
Yes. Which just fits Mark Boone Jr.
Yes, it does.
If you've seen the guy still the falafel in Batman Begins.
Yes. Which we're going to be doing that movie one of these days, by the way.
It's like, I got kids to feed. They don't like
falafel?
Don't like
falafel? But yeah, so Somerset and Mills are sitting in a barbershop. It's sort of in the back of the barbershop. And
Mills is still like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, Mills is like, what are we doing here? Why are you, I told you this guy wouldn't show up. He's a junkie. Yeah, he's like, no, he's not. He works for the Bureau.
He's like, what? It's like, listen, all right. Reading habits. And Mills is like, what? It's like, okay, so the Bureau, right? They decide, they have certain key words that they look at, right? And they put
anybody who's
they get axed. Anyone that has a library card, right?
You can't get a library card without a license, without an ID or an address and phone number, all this stuff. And so the Bureau they have a database where if anybody checks out, say, Mein Kampf
library records
or
how to make a bomb, then
it gets flagged, and then everything that they check out after that is flagged.
Right. And there's a database where you can look up what's in that database, and they monitor that person, or it could potentially monitor that person. Or, if we pay them money, they will just take a look at it and give us the results.
Yeah, and then Mills is like, well, it could be a serial killer, or it could be some student writing a term paper.
So they kind of finish a conversation, then Mark Boone Jr. shows back up.
Mm-hmm. And he hands an envelope to Somerset.
Hands it up. Yep.
And then walks out. And then they go back out of the car, and they're looking through this envelope. They each have a few pages, and they're looking through reading books that have been checked out of the library. And Mills has on his list, he's got all the books that Somerset was looking through before. Plus, stuff about homicide detective methods and all this stuff that fits right with what they're looking for.
And then they get one that's the Marquis de Sade.
Yeah, the Marquis de Sade. He's like, the Marquis de Sade? Mills doesn't know how to pronounce it. Summers says like the Marquis de Sade.
Which I'm sorry, okay. So I love how he purposely puts it within the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like Sade.
Sade.
No, the sod. In a few years, we'll watch a Jeffrey Rush movie with Kate Winslet called Quills.
Yeah.
It's all about them.
Yep. Yeah, they're like, that's our guy. What's his name? And they look it up, and I was like, John Doe.
Like, really?
Like, really?
John Doe.
John Doe.
That's not a suspicious name at all.
Not at all.
And so they decided, you know what? We're going to go to John Doe's apartment.
Mm-hmm. And so it's raining again.
Yep. And so they're there.
They go to the apartment.
And they're
standing
they're
on the
knocking
hall.
on it.
They knock on the door. Nobody answers. And they're standing out there waiting. They knock again. Nobody answers. Then somebody comes walking up the stairs down the hall. Somebody in a trench coat and a fedora.
Trench coat, and he's got a fedora and a paper grocery store bag.
Mm-hmm.
She's holding with both hands, both arms.
And they look over and they see him. Because Somerset sees him and he's like, Mills, look. And Mills looks over and then we see the guy, he just stopped at the top of the stairs and he's looking at him. And then he drops the bag, pulls a gun and shoots at him. Takes a couple of shots. And then runs back down the stairs. And so Mills draws his gun and chases him. And so then we get a chase through this apartment complex.
Yes.
Through this apartment building. Like through different apartments and, and a couple of them, people are scared. So then, there's one where, all the people are in the kitchen. And when Mills runs in there, then one of them points to where this guy went. And so Mills is chasing him out the window, across the roof, down, up and down fire escapes. All this.
Yeah,
meanwhile,
he eventually goes out down some fire escapes, and
Meanwhile, Somerset is staying inside. He's playing a little bit cooler, going through, and he's actually, when he comes across somebody, he shows him his badge. He's like, "Police, please go back into your apartment. You're safe in there." He's not just running around waving a gun everywhere.
But yeah, he goes through the apartment, goes down the fire escapes, and then finally goes like across the street into another alley
where there's a garbage truck.
And again, as we said, it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And finally he turns the corner, they get different shots off, and he gets around the corner. There's the fire truck. Right.
The garbage truck, and so he goes
I
up.
Yeah, I want to say fire.
He
truck,
goes up to the garbage truck and he like peeks over through the windshield to see if there's nobody in there, and then goes to turn around the side and looks up through the window and make sure there's nobody in the cab again. And as he's walking down this side of this garbage truck, we see this hand from the roof of the truck swing down and pistol whip Mills, knocks him on the ground.
Yep.
And then, it knocks his gun off into the roaring river of the street.
Yep. And you
so much rain.
You get close up of Mills' face, and he's got rain kind of going down again.
And he's bleeding now because he's got pistol whipped.
And he's got a permanent 5 o'clock shadow in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's it's rain's coming down,
and his
hair's kind of long.
Sitting down,
you see the water dripping off his hair.
Right? He's sort of sitting down with his head sort of leaning up against the side of the truck.
And you can tell he's afraid that, okay, this guy's got the upper hand. Is he gonna shoot me now? What's gonna happen? Right? And we see, the gun kind of come towards his head, but we never get the shot.
No.
He runs off. And it's not long after he runs off, Somerset comes back up. Right? And so Mills is now, he's really angry. He's been shot at. He's chased this guy. He didn't catch him. He is irate.
Yes. We have not seen him this pissed yet in this movie.
Yeah. Which I don't blame him.
He's gotten pretty mad about stuff, but we've never seen him this pissed.
He's got a right to be angry about what's happened. I get it. But he's not keeping his cool necessarily, right? So they go back to John Doe's apartment.
Yeah.
And
they're like,
Somerset's like thinking like, no, we can't go in. You're going to screw this case potentially if we go in.
Yes. And Mills is like,
what
why?
What you say is like,
He's like, we need to go
how
in.
did we find this out? Like, no, we paid off the bureau.
Yeah, we paid off an FBI agent.
There was
to give us information.
We never had the calls. We don't have the calls to be here.
It's like, what are you talking about? We have probable cause now. It's like, no, we don't.
How did we show up at this door?
How do we know? How do we know that this is that guy's apartment? You know, how did we find out? How did we find this address?
He could just say, "I saw these cops here. I didn't know what they were. Right? They stood at my place. I was afraid they were breaking in,
and
I'm
then
gonna shoot at them."
Mills kicks in the door.
That's how they say it, but
then Mills kicks in the door. And he's like, "Well, too late now." And Somerset's like,
and so then it cuts
"You
back,
stupid son of a bitch."
And it cuts to them coaching a witness like, "Oh yeah, no, this guy was this."
Well, no, because before that we get Mills. They're standing in the doorway, and Mills is like, "How much money you got?"
That's right. And they pay off someone.
Yeah, they pay off some lady outside, some homeless girl outside. That. Oh yeah, I saw this. We heard something coming from this apartment, and
I thought it sounded really suspicious, so I called the cops.
Yes, and what she's telling the cop is it doesn't sound rehearsed at all.
Not at
all. It doesn't sound anything like she was told what to say.
And Somerset's like, right. So
especially when she forgets what her line, and she looks at Mills, and he tells her line,
and Mills is like,
it's like, you saw this, didn't you? It's like, oh yeah, I did.
I did see that. I totally saw that. So they go in, and this apartment again, like, it's dark. Like, he's probably had the windows plastered over. And they're going through, and they're looking at everything in here. And
the only light seems to be in the bedroom. There's this neon cross above the bed. There's red neon cross.
They have a neon cross, and they see some Bibles. It's a collection of different things. It's this hodgepodge of macabre and religious imagery. And they finally get to like a bathroom, right? And they see the photographs. It's kind of different places in there, right? They see some photographs,
and they see on the wall in the living room though. There's these basically shadow boxes on the wall. Each one of them has a trophy from each of the murders so far.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So like the first one, you have a bunch of the cans of the spaghetti sauce from the Gluttony.
Oh, that's right. We didn't mention that earlier. So back at Gluttony, there's a bunch of like spaghetti sauce cans,
tons of very
similar,
cans.
Similar to kind of what you think like an Andy Warhol painting. It's kind of
like the Campbell soup can.
Yes,
but it's spaghetti sauce, and so he's got a few of these spaghetti sauce cans in this box on the wall, and then next to it is greed. Where what was it they had in that?
I can't. Yeah, I know.
But then the next to that was sloth, where he has the guy's hand.
That's right. He has the guy's hand. He kept the fucker's hand. Right.
It's in a jar with formaldehyde, and it's sitting in that box. And then they get to the next
all
one.
There is right now.
No, they get to the next one, and there's a picture of a woman.
That's right, a woman.
Then there's a sort of a note receipt from a leather place.
Like a leather designer, right? Or custom leather maker.
Yeah.
Right. So we have so they know that there's 3 victims
from Wild Bill's leather place.
We know a potential 4th one, but we don't really know who she is yet. Right.
So they see this picture. It's sort of a picture taken from the distance, and this woman she's wearing sort of a fur coat, or at least
looks like
fur boa kind of thing, and
a street worker.
Yeah, and Mills, points her out. He's like, "Who do you think this is?" And Somerset's like, "I don't know, but she looks like a pro."
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah, she looks like a pro.
And then, then they're looking through.
I think it's pretty obvious that she's not dead yet.
Yes.
Right? That she's targeted, but she's not dead yet. They keep looking around.
Yeah, they keep looking around.
Somerset comes upon this bookshelf, and it's full of composition notebooks.
Yes, full of composition notebooks. This guy clearly spent a lot of time in high school. Because there are thousands of composition notebooks.
And he's filled every single line. He's gone past the margins.
Interesting thing about this. So, David Fincher actually had somebody fill every one of these notebooks. With this is like they spent.
This is Stanley Kubrick level detail right here.
Yes, every one of these notebooks. They look through like 3 of them. They flip through like 3 of them. You don't actually get to read what's on it because they flip through it so fast. But there's thousands of these notebooks, and every single one of them in real life was filled.
And as we find out later from Somerset, when he's talking about them later, it's like there's no date on them. There's no discernible order. Like he's read, we see him flip through 2 or 3 at the scene. He's obviously read more.
Yeah.
So all these ones, Fincher had someone do all of this. So he's flipping through them. Mills keeps going through, and they finally kind of end up like in the bathroom. And the bathroom is kind of set up like a black room.
Yes. And it's a dark room for like developing pictures. And there's pictures hanging up, hanging up on like clotheslines across there.
We don't really have digital cameras yet. You don't have a smartphone to take a picture, right? You have film that you take your pictures with, right? And he's using his bathroom as a dark room.
Yeah,
right?
so there's strings going across with clothespins that are holding up pictures that are drying, and Mills walks up to the bathtub and he looks in there, and then he calls, before we see what's in there, he calls Somerset. He's like, "Somerset, get in here now." So Somerset gets in there, and then
it's like we had him,
and it pans down and it shows it's the picture that was taken of Mills and Somerset in the hallway outside of Sloth's apartment. It's like, it was the photographer. We had him, and we just let him go. Or no, he's like, I had him, and I just let him go. He's blaming himself for that one. Because he just, got his ass handed to him by this guy. So he's taking it personal. He's like, I had him, and I let him go. And
I do have a note here too. So apparently after this, when they're back at the precinct and talk about this, there were 2,000 notebooks. Each had 250 pages.
Yeah, and every page was filled
of just writing.
Yeah.
And he kind of reads through some of it. It's like he talks about the banality, how evil man is. His mind's poured out over these 2,000 notebooks, right? And that's when they get a phone call. And it's John Doe.
Yes, it's John Doe.
And it's like, I don't know how you found me, but I just want to say, I admire you.
Mm-hmm. And he's talking to
I want to express my admiration for you. Right? And it's Mills is the one that's talking.
This is back. No, so this is still at the apartment. This isn't back to the precinct. This is still at the apartment. It's at the apartment. The phone starts ringing, and they don't know where it is because they can't find a phone. So Mills is going through, and he's just listening for the ringing. And then he sees a phone cord down on the floor. So he grabs it, and he follows it to the phone. And he answers it. And it's John Doe talking. And Somerset gets over there, and he pulls out a tape recorder, a micro cassette recorder. And, holds it up to the earpiece of the phone so that they can record it.
Yeah, and that's when he expresses his admiration.
Like, I admire you, and I don't know. I don't know how you found my apartment, but.
And he says, I need to read, but you have forced me to readjust my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. And that's when they take that clue about Wild Bill's letter,
and they go there, and the guys are like, it's like, oh yeah, I remember this piece. I remember the guy that made this for that had me made it, right? He had me deliver it over here for somebody, right? It's like, yeah, I couldn't forget this piece. Like, it's so unique.
So did they go to Wild Bill's before they found Pride?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see, we had Pride here.
Yeah. So they did. They did.
Yeah,
because
they find Lust next. They find Lust before Pride.
Yeah. So,
but then they get the call for Lust, and as we said earlier, they call it a massage parlor. It's not a massage parlor, right?
But yeah, so they go over to the massage parlor where Michael Massey is, and he's sort of in the booth, and they ask him, did somebody come by here with something under their arm, or because so when he's talking to Wild Bill, they're talking about this photograph that they're not showing us.
No, they're not.
And so when they leave, Somerset takes the picture with him. And Wild Bill's like, my picture. Yeah, so they get to the massage parlor and they're talking to Michael Massey, and he's asking, somebody come in, something under their arm, a backpack, something, carrying something. He's like, everybody that comes through here has something under their arm. Everybody who comes through here is carrying a package of some kind. So they make their way through the massage parlor. I still don't know why they call it a massage parlor. It's a sex dungeon. There are people having tea parties all over the place. So it's
all over the place.
It's a tea hall. They're having tea parties, and
This is Saturday, by the way. We're officially on Saturday.
Yes, this is Saturday. So they get to this one room, and there's an officer there, and he's like, "You the detectives?" Like, yeah, but you don't want to come in and see this. And they go in there, and there's this guy who's just hysterical. Yes. He is screaming. He's just he's crying. He's screaming.
This guy is traumatized.
He is traumatized.
He's distraught.
Yes, and he's played by Leland Orser.
Who we had recently in Saving Private Ryan.
Yes, we did. And also, he was in Taken, which we have not done yet, but I'm sure we will do it one of these days. I think we should do it one of these days.
He was also in Independence Day.
Yes, he was.
He plays one of the lab assistants that gets murdered by the alien at Area 51.
Yeah. So, I think he's an underrated actor, I think.
He is. He's also in the Ben Affleck Daredevil, by the way.
He is. Yeah, so he's got a blanket over from the waist down.
We get a scene where he's finally when he's just talking with the cops, and he's still hysterical. He's got this
hysterical. He's like, "Get this thing off me! Get this thing off of me!
Get it off me!" He put it on me. He told me to fuck her, right? He told me to keep going, right?
And so, before it gets into that part, we see sort of in the background a dead prostitute on the bed.
We do.
And, we see the blonde hair. And so it's implied that it's this woman that was in the picture.
It's the same person in the photograph. Yeah.
And so
that's when he's kind of back at the precinct, and he's still in the blanket, and he's still he's still shaking.
No, this is still in.
Is it? Oh yeah, it is
in the room there, and
yeah,
and that's when Somerset pulls out the picture from Wild Bill, and it's basically the strap on with a big blade sticking out of the end of it.
It's a blade,
a big blade.
Yeah, it's not a dildo; it's a blade. It's like a dildo with a blade.
Yeah, and
yeah.
So this is when the guy's like, he told me to fuck her. He put a gun to my head, and the gun was in my mouth. And yeah,
He's like, oh god. Like, I mean, he is like just horrified about what's happened. It's hard for him to process. He's blaming himself on this. At the same time, he's thinking about how his life was in danger and just the sheer consequence of what happened. And he's unable to handle it. Meanwhile, Michael Massey's not really thinking much of it. It's like, oh, whatever. So.
Yeah, so he's just going on and on how this guy made him.
Yeah, this basically.
Made him kill this woman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Had her, made her, stab her, cut her, and bleed her out.
From the inside.
So, from the inside. Yeah.
We'll just let your mind wander on
I could get how he would be, distraught about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he's not a sociopath.
Yeah.
So we
I think part of
Sunday
this
now.
Yeah, I think part of this was in part of this was back at the tea hall at the massage parlor. And part of it was back at the precinct.
Yes. Yeah. It kind of cuts back. I think like they finally get them in for like questioning and like again, like even beyond this, once they get him over there, like he has not calmed down.
No.
Which,
understandably so.
Yeah. I mean, like, I could like, yeah. He was just going in for a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And this happened.
Yeah, so now it's Sunday.
And then we get a phone call to the precinct, and it's John Doe. He says, oops, I did it again.
I played with your heart. Got lost in the game. And then Britney Spears shows up.
No. So we get our fifth victim. Pride.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a model.
The model laying in her bed with her head all bandaged up, like bandages wrapped completely around her head. She's got a bottle of sleeping pills glued to one hand, to her left hand, and in her right hand she has a phone, a cordless phone that's glued to her hand. And
she,
they start unwrapping her head, unwrapping the bandages, and they notice that her face is all sliced up. Her nose is cut off.
It's been sliced up.
up.
All the pretty features are cut off.
And Pride is written above her bed on the wall.
And they surmise that they gave her the choice, like.
Oh, and also by the way, back at the tea room, Lust was written on the wall.
Yes, it was. Right.
Yeah, so now.
They surmise that she was given the choice. Like you could call 911, you deal with this.
You could call for help, but then you have to live the rest of your life scarred and deformed, or take the pills.
Or take the pills, which killed her.
And she chose to
OD'd
take
on the pills
because she couldn't stand to not be beautiful.
And so now we have our fifth victim. Right. So we had gluttony. We had greed. We had sloth. We had lust. And now we have
pride. So the only
pride.
two left are wrath and envy.
The first wrath and envy. And granted, our first one was probably sloth, and then gluttony, and then greed, lust, and pride. And it's interesting because it seems like pride had been very much targeted. Right.
Yep.
But no, and he already kind of had the plan of it, but he sped up the plan. Now, lust.
Yeah,
right?
Lust had been targeted.
Pride would not necessarily know when he had kind of planned it out, but he made it happen. How if he just chose her kind of randomly at the last minute, we don't know.
I mean, the wounds were fresh.
Yep.
You know,
he probably had an idea of who he was going for.
Mm-hmm.
So, but given the rest of the plan's about to unfold, like he can kind of be a little bit sloppier with it.
Yeah. So
to speak.
They get back to the precinct, and
at this point, Somerset's like, "I am staying on."
Yeah, he's like, "I've decided I'm going to stay on until this is done. I'm not retiring today. I'm staying on until this is done. There are 2 more. We got to try to stop this guy."
Right, and they're kind of going up. They're kind of on like the second level at this point. You know, we get to a point where they're kind of on the second level. They're walking up these steps.
They're sort of going up the steps.
Level of, and like they're in the center of the precinct, and the bottom. It's kind of open. That looks up there, right?
We see this man in a white shirt,
and we kind of cut back.
Walk in.
Well, first we kind of cut back to the outside of it,
mm-hmm.
and we see this cab pull up, and we see this guy walk out.
We see him from the back.
We see his legs. See him from the back.
We don't see his face,
right?
Yet.
Yep. He walks in, and we cut back, and Somerset and Mills, they're talking together about this, and
we hear a familiar voice say, "Detective."
And
nobody answers.
They don't really, look at first, and all of a sudden
he yells, "Detective!" And they stop, and
it's like that sounds like Kevin Spacey.
Mm-hmm. It does. It sounds exactly like Kevin Spacey. What is Kevin Spacey doing here?
Kevin Spacey wasn't in the credits. What the fuck is happening?
And they turn, and they see Kevin Spacey standing in the middle of the lobby of the police station, covered in blood. His white shirt is covered in blood, and his fingers are bandaged. All of his fingertips have bandages on them. All 10 of them. And he's like, "You're looking for me."
And all of a sudden, like, he kind of he's got his hands up, he's surrendering. And you got other cops coming in now, they're swarming him, right? Ready to arrest him. And they arrest him, right? And then we get a scene, right? And
we get more. So the cops are all surrounding it, and Mills, he comes down and he's yelling at him. He's like, "Get on the floor now!"
That's right. Yes.
Like, Mills is going overboard.
He could have easily just stepped back. He didn't have to go in on this, right? He is getting in his face about this.
Mm-hmm. And so they get him into the interrogation room, and he's sitting there. There's a cop in there with him, and they're, and Mills and Somerset are on the other side of the wall, at the
they're talking,
two-way glass and the two-way mirror, and they're talking, and they're like, "Well, we analyzed the blood that was on his clothes. It belonged to the Pride victim, himself, and another person we haven't identified."
Yep. And he's sitting there. He's on his white. He's got a cup of tea, and he's he's got bandages on his fingertips, so he's just kind of holding it between his fingers more, right? He's carefully just dunking his tea bag in his tea, right? No. And again, and Mills is still kind of his Mills self, like, thinking he's crazy and all this, right? Like, this is making, and someone's like, this isn't making any sense about why he's doing this, right? That's when you say, like, a third party, right? And then Mills calls home, and Tracy doesn't answer.
Yeah, Tracy doesn't answer.
I'm gonna be home. I'm gonna be home late. Like, don't eat. You can eat dinner without me, right? That type of thing. So.
Yeah, so he leaves a message.
That's when they get right. We got D.A. Shaft. We get Arlie Ermery, and the detectives, and they're sitting there with not Mills. We're sitting there with John Doe's lawyer,
played by John Doe's lawyer, yes,
who is plays Eddie in The Lost World.
Yes, he does. Richard Schiff's great.
He's another very underrated character actor.
Yes.
He's very good in this role.
Yeah, so he plays Mark Swar, John Doe's lawyer.
Right? And he's just very calmly telling him what, it's like, okay, well, he'll tell you where the other victims are, but he has these conditions. Right? If you don't follow these conditions, he is ready to plead insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And, and again, Mills, he's getting upset. He's starting to scream. It's like, you've seen the nature of these crimes. Like, no, I can get an easy insanity plea off of these. Right?
And
it's like, but
if you go with him, he will take you to the last two bodies, but it has to be Somerset and Mills and nobody else. Just the two of you.
Nobody else.
Just the two of you, and he will sign a confession. He will sign a full confession and plead guilty. And Mills jumps on it. He's like, "Oh, deal." But Somerset, he's a little bit more weary about this.
Yeah, he's like, what? He's trying to figure out. Again, this seems too perfect, right?
Seems too good to be true.
Too good to be true, right? But they agree on it. They get in the car, right? And
well, first
Somerset's driving.
No. First, they wire them up. They're in the bathroom. They're shaving their chests.
That's right. I like that. I like this scene. I like this scene. Thank you.
They're shaving their chests because maybe they're getting ready to put some wireless mics on their chests. Maybe they're getting ready for the policeman's calendar. They're going to have a photo shoot after all this.
Oh, Morgan Freeman, look at you.
November and December.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you.
So they're shaving their chest, getting ready to get mic'd up. And so, they put the mics on them. They put bulletproof vests on them, and they're driving. Somerset's driving. Yep. Mills is in the passenger seat, and John Doe is in the back in the cage. And
they have a helicopter following them.
Yeah, there's a helicopter following at a distance.
California's in the helicopter.
By California.
He's
and they're driving off into the desert, it looks like.
Yeah, it's desert. Like, you finally get to the point, it's a desert, and you just have these massive electrical pylons.
Mm-hmm. You just have these massive power lines going down the road, and Mills starts asking.
I forgot. I like how they joke about how they might shave off a nipple.
Yeah. 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 When they're shaving their chest, Mills is like, yeah, so if I accidentally shave off my nipple, do you think that's workman's comp?
Yes. And you get a plastic surgeon to sew that shit back on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They can get the FBI. They can get Colin Fiore before Nicolas Cage sets him on fire. He could do that.
Yes.
Anyway, so they get to talking finally, right? They had to talk a bit about like what's happening, why he's doing this.
Mm-hmm. He's like, why would
doesn't make sense?
Why would you kill 7 innocent people? And that sets John Doe off. He's like, innocent? These people were far from innocent.
He saw any of these people on the street, he would thank me for taking them out.
Think of a man who is so big, who is so disgusting, that if you saw him eating, you would not be able to finish your meal. A woman who is so ugly on the inside, who's so vain, that she can't stand to be anything but beautiful on the outside.
Or a lawyer that defends the scum of the earth.
Or a hooker,
a drug dealing
a drug dealer and pederast, by the way, who.
You mean the Jesus?
Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
Apparently not, because he was not the pederast in the bed.
Pederast in the bed. But yeah, he's like, there's a pederast, by the way. You know, the drug dealer who's a pederast, by the way, and then a disease-ridden hooker, a disease-ridden whore, who spreads diseases all over the place. You know, these people were far from innocent.
Like, this is the first time we kind of see him break a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's in control, but here is like, no, like this is right. And then Mills keeps pushing him. It's like, I just think you're crazy, right? You know,
and Somerset's kind of just sitting here, just watching this. He's staying quiet.
Yeah, he keeps it cool.
He's sort of just letting Mills do his thing.
Yep. He kind of exchanges more polite words with John Doe. It's like, no, you're not going to see the beauty of what I have in store. You can't comprehend what I have planned. Everyone's going to be in awe of it once they see it. You know, again, Mills is like, I don't think you have anything, right? Like, we'll see what happens when we get out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see soon enough.
So he's like, see those high tension wires up there? That's where we're going.
Turn right there.
So, Somerset drives him out there, and there's just this trailer.
Yep, he gets to the end of this little
sales office
road.
It's got a banner that says
There's
sales
a trailer
office
at the end of it, right?
And
it's like, we're here.
And so, Somerset and Mills get out of the car, and they're looking around. They call up to California, like, keep an eye out, make sure we're not going to get ambushed.
Yep. And they're talking, and Mills is distracted right now, and Somerset, they're looking around, and John Doe's like, Detective Mills, like, remember on the phone how I said I admire you? I really meant that.
Yeah, so they end up getting Mills.
Like, I really admire your life.
Yeah, because they ended up getting John Doe out of the car because they got out and they're looking around and they can't find anything, so they got him out to see if maybe he could answer some questions, point to what they're doing. Yeah, so that's when he's like, on the phone when I told her I admire you, I really do. I admire you. I admire your life. I admire your happy marriage. And Somerset is starting to pick up what John Doe is trying to do. And so he's like, Mills, don't give in to him. Don't listen to him. Don't give in to him.
And that's when he sees like a delivery van.
Yeah, there's a van. Well, we don't know it's a delivery van yet. We just see a van off in the distance driving.
It turns down that dirt road that they just turned off of.
It's driving pretty fast.
Yes.
Well, first, John Doe asks what time it is, and Somerset looks at his watch, and he's like, 7:01.
It's like, it's going to be any time.
He's like, any time now. And then we see the van coming up. And California sees the van. And he's like, we got a van.
We got to keep eyes on this. Like, I'm ready for a shot if we need to. Right? And Somerset's like, no, I'm going to go up. I'm going to,
so Somerset, take care of this. He's like, Mills, you stay here with him. And Somerset gets in his car and he drives toward the van.
They're probably about 50 yards off. I mean, probably a good 50 yards off from the van and Mills and John Doe.
Yeah.
Right?
So Somerset drives over and he cuts off the van. He cuts
off the van.
Stops and he gets out. He pulls his gun. And he's like, get out of the van. And
the guy's like, I was just told to live this here.
I don't know what's going on. I just was told to live this here at 7:00.
He gives him a box.
That's addressed to David Mills, to Detective David Mills.
Yep. And, it's a basic size delivery box.
Mm-hmm. It says fragile on the side.
It's kind of a square delivery box, right? It's not a huge one.
And so as soon as he pulls that box out, then California's like, we got a bomb. Call the bomb squad.
Yep. And then Mills just tells the guy to get out of here.
Well,
right?
Somerset does.
Somerset tells the delivery driver,
get out of here.
Just get out of here.
And then so the delivery guy starts running. He just starts running down the road.
He just runs off.
Calls California.
He runs off.
We got the driver run down the road, make sure he gets picked up.
Yep.
And then he picks up the box and
he's a little wary of it. He's like, yeah, I don't know if I should open this.
Then he pulls out a switchblade. He's like, I'm opening it.
And he just kind of cuts it very slowly.
Carefully cuts through the tape, and then flips open one of the flaps, and he sees there's blood.
Right, and then he opens it all the way up, and he steps back. He's like,
yeah.
And then he hears from over there, it's like Somerset's like, Mills is like, what's going on? What's over there? It's like, don't come over here. Don't come over here.
Don't come over here, Mills. Stay where you are. And meanwhile, John Doe is still talking,
speaking with him. It's like, I really admire
your life. This morning, I went to your house. I wanted your life. I envied your life. I went to your house. I tried to play husband. But your wife wouldn't have it. So I took a souvenir. Her pretty head. And
she begged for her life.
Yeah, she begged for her life.
What?
Like, what are you talking about? And then Somerset comes walking over. He comes walking over, and Mills like, what's in the box?
Mills like, what's he talking about?
What's he talking about? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Like,
what's in the box?
She really, I really admire. It's like, she loves you. She really begged for her life
and the life of the child in her stomach.
Like,
what? The child in her belly.
What? And that's when this is the first time you see Mills get upset. Like, he slaps John Doe. And John Doe sees
Somerset.
Like, oh.
Yeah, Somerset slaps him.
Yeah, Somerset slaps him. It's like, oh, and John Doe's like, oh, he didn't know, did he?
Yeah. Yeah, this is the first time.
What's in the box?
Yeah, this is the first time, you actually see Somerset,
get upset. Like, this is the biggest emotion you see from him. He just smacks Kevin. Morgan Freeman slaps Kevin Spacey. He pistol whips him.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, he didn't know, did he?
Yeah, so now Mills is freaking out even more.
Like, no, it's not true.
No.
And then John is like, don't listen to him.
Pointing
this
his
is
gun
what
at him
he
and
wants.
then dropping it and then pointing it at him again. And then he's like,
and Somerset's like, this is what he wants.
Don't give
drop
in.
The gun.
Do not give in. Just put the gun down.
John does he's like, give in. Become wrath.
Become wrath. So yeah, he led him to the last two victims, envy and wrath. And then Mills shoots John Doe in the head.
Yep. It's like, that's my, that's what he says, like, and that's my sin. Envy.
Yeah.
That's, he teases, like, become wrath. He just shoots him in the head. And here California's like, he shot him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, yeah, they come, the rest of the, more officers come, and, Somerset just stands, he's shocked at what just happened.
And Mills is like, I did it. Whatever. I don't care. I'll deal with the consequences.
And I kind of like that they don't have Somerset be the one to make the arrest.
I agree. I like it.
He just kind of stands there with him. And then, the other cops come in and, cuff him and put him in the car.
And Somerset still, he cares about how he's going to be taken in. He's wants to make sure he's going to be okay. And that's basically how it ends, right? We don't know what's going to happen after that. Maybe he gets off. Like, I could see.
they car drives off with Mills in the back, and then the credits come up.
And I could see a jury being sympathetic for him. And
so I mean, we don't know if Somerset stays on longer or if he actually goes on with his retirement.
We have no idea. It just ends there. Again, like it's continues to be bleak, right? It's this perfect plan that this guy had. He gives up his life to do it. But he executes what he wants to do.
Yes, there are 7 victims, but there are not 7 murders. Well,
no, that's right.
Technically, yes, there are. If you want to count Gwyneth Paltrow as the 7th murder, but
Gwyneth Paltrow is not one of the deadly sins.
No, she's not.
Envy just decides to kill her. Like that becomes his sin. His envy kills.
Yes,
his envy causes that death.
Yeah, but as far as the 7 deadly sin victims. Yes, there are 7 of them, but there are not 7 deadly sin murders.
Which makes you just wonder, like, okay, what was his original plan?
I think...
Because he started this over a year ago.
Yeah, he started this over a year ago.
Sloth.
Maybe he's been keeping tabs on Mills all this time.
Maybe Mills started putting this request in a year ago.
It seems very early in the movie that John Doe seems to peg Mills for wrath.
But he might have done this earlier. He realizes he's following it. Like, oh, this guy's angry. He's trying to get this position here. I'm going to place all these pieces together to get to this point.
Yeah.
Which I mean, would pass it because, like, John Doe's a really, really intelligent dude.
Yes.
So.
Well, not so much anymore.
Yes, well, he was.
I mean, he didn't really have much of a brain to think after all that.
No. Mills took care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ends with a wrath killing. Like, and okay, so, he
Which
doesn't,
really,
okay.
That's really the only way that he could, have a wrath victim.
Yes, I agree. The wrath has to be an actual vengeance type of thing that you have to see. And then, like, okay, he doesn't die, but now he's got to live with the wrath.
He's got to live with the consequences of his wrath.
Yeah. And again, maybe he goes to prison later. Maybe he gets acquitted. I don't know.
I don't know.
I with a good lawyer, you could see him just kind of getting off of this temporary insanity in terms of being overwhelmed with what just happened, that he shoots the guy right there, being goaded on to do it.
Yeah. Maybe his story was like what comes after this was the whole storyline of the unmade 8 that they were going to make. Right. The sequel to 7.
Yes. Richard Schiff is his lawyer and gets him off.
Maybe.
It's like, hey.
But we'll never know because 8 was never made.
My client's dead. I'll represent you.
But I mean,
he paid me well.
Yeah,
he paid me ahead of time.
But seriously, I can't believe that they were even considering making a sequel to this and calling it 8.
No, sorry, you don't do that. This is just such an original movie. It's so good. It really ends perfectly.
It really does. It really does. I mean, the ending is just as bleak as the rest of the movie.
And it's funny, like, there's times where I kind of Mandela effect this and remember that I seen Gwyneth Paltrow's head in a box. But you never see her head in the box.
You never see her head in the box, no. It's all implied. Now, he could have been lying about there being her head in the box.
Yes.
But,
yes.
I mean,
it from Charlize Theron's head in the box.
It could have been. It could have been one of the dogs. It could have just been. It could have been another pound of flesh. From the lawyer. Maybe
it was Natalie Portman's hair from V for Vendetta.
Maybe. Maybe it was a wig made from her hair that they were going to put on John Doe because he had shaved his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. All we saw was there was a couple little smears of blood on the flaps on the box.
That could have been anything.
Yeah. It could have been a box of kittens.
It could have been It ends with Kevin Spacey's head being blown off. And Brad Pitt going to jail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's the movie. So,
yeah.
Great movie. Love it.
Love this movie. It's a heavy watch.
It's a heavy watch.
It's a heavy watch, but it's so good.
And again,
so
like
good.
we there's so many things you could pour over with this movie and live with, and like that's why, like, yeah, it probably should be more of a frequent watch for me, because like it's just so good.
I mean, the acting is top notch in this movie. Everybody in this movie is just so good. I mean, so yeah. So, anything else that you want to say about it?
I think that does it.
I think so too. I think we covered it pretty well. So, if you enjoy what you're hearing, then go ahead and check out our social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram and Threads. It is Rob and Tony's Cinematic Adventure. The and is spelled out, A-N-D. It's not an ampersand like it is in the name of the podcast. We're also on X or Twitter. That is R&T Cinematic. And then if you want to check out our Letterboxd, you can see some of the reviews that we've made on various movies. Some we've done on the podcast, some we haven't done, some we will do, some we won't do. That is Cine Adventure or Cine Adventure, C-I-N-E Adventure. And you can also just send us an email. What did you think about 7? Do you spell it with a 7 in the middle or a V? Yeah. Do you agree with us that it's an excellent movie? Do you hate this movie? Is it too bleak and too depressing for you? Which, I mean, yes, it's bleak and depressing, but at the same time, you know, like we mentioned earlier, it doesn't leave you depressed after watching it. Really?
No.
You know? You know, everybody, you know, the guilty parties get their comeuppance.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, you can send us an email at robandtonyscinematicadventure@gmail.com. And once again, the and is spelled out, A-N-D. It's not an ampersand like it is the name of the podcast. Yeah, just let us know. We want to hear from you. Should we do more movies like this? Should we do less movies like this? You know, what do you think? We are always happy to hear from our listeners. Speaking of that, if you enjoy what you're hearing, once again, go to our social media, give us a like and a follow. Go to your favorite podcast app, wherever you're listening to us. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a good rating, a good review. That's how we move up in the standings and the search and the recommendations, all that stuff. Because we want to be able to reach as many ears as possible.
Yes, we do.
And we love interacting with, you know, other people who love talking about movies.
We love movies.
We love movies.
About them, yeah.
And if you're listening to this, chances are you love movies too. And, you know,
I would hope so.
Yeah. Anyway, so reach out to us. We want to hear from you. But now that we're about a little over halfway through. We're about the halfway mark in October right now.
Halfway mark of October.
So
yes,
yeah. So Halloween's coming up. We're deep into the spooky season now.
We are. It feels appropriately fall now.
Yes, it does. So our next movie, we're gonna go way back. Farther way back than we have gone.
Our oldest movie.
We are going even farther than Casablanca, which up until now was the movie that was the farthest back in time that we have done. But now
we're over 10 years past Casablanca.
Over 10 years past Casablanca. We're going all the way back to 1931 for our next movie.
We talked about Universal monster movies. We are doing a Universal monster movie.
Yes, we are doing The Bela Lugosi Dracula.
Yes.
The Dracula that made Dracula. The
Made
blueprint.
Dracula.
The blueprint of
Dracula movies.
Of theatrical portrayals of Dracula.
Yeah. I mean, even really, in some ways, just put on the character on the map for a lot of, at least American audience.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we're going to be talking about the 1931 Dracula, the black and white Bela Lugosi starring Dracula.
yes. I'm happy we're doing this.
Me
We
too.
need something that's like really, really old classic.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Bela Lugosi, come on.
Yeah. I mean, if you think of Dracula, if you don't know who Bela Lugosi is, then just picture Dracula.
Yeah.
If you've seen any like Dracula costumes for Halloween or anything like that, it's all based off of the
That's
Bela
just one of those
Lugosi
names that I
Dracula.
think, even if you haven't seen it, like, oh, Bela Lugosi, just Dracula. There it is.
So, anyway, join us next time for Dracula.